Queen Gaia's piercing laughter echoes through the grand hall of the Sakari mothership as she mocks Earth's primitive technology. The towering blue-skinned humanoid, her bioluminescent markings pulsing with disdain, gestures at the holographic display of Earth floating before her. "Behold, council members, this backwater planet barely capable of reaching its own moon," she sneers, her voice dripping with contempt. "These humans, with their crude machines and limited understanding, are unworthy of our attention." The Sakari High Council, an array of alien dignitaries surrounding their queen, nod in agreement. Their collective dismissal of humanity hangs heavy in the air, a palpable force that threatens to crush Earth's future in the galactic community. Adam Hunter, Earth's appointed diplomat, stands at the edge of the gathering. His fists clench at his sides, knuckles white with restrained anger. He watches as Queen Gaia continues her tirade, each word a barb aimed at his home world. Their weaponry is laughable, their energy sources primitive. Queen Gaia continues, her luminous skin flickering with amusement. They wage petty wars amongst themselves, oblivious to the vastness of the cosmos. How can such a species hope to contribute to the galactic order? The council murmurs in agreement, their alien features twisted in expressions of superiority. Adam's jaw tightens, his patience wearing thin. He knows the fate of Earth hangs in the balance. If he cannot change the Sakari's perception, humanity may be forever barred from the stars. Unable to contain himself any longer, Adam steps forward. His sudden movement draws the attention of the entire hall, alien eyes focusing on the lone human in their midst. "Your Majesty," Adam's voice rings out, clear and confident despite the tension in his body. "I challenge your assessment of humanity. We may be young in the cosmic scale, but we are far from backwards or unworthy." Queen Gaia turns, her luminous eyes narrowing as she regards the human. "You dare interrupt our proceedings, little one?" she asks, a dangerous edge to her voice. Adam stands his ground, meeting the Queen's gaze. "I request a private audience, Your Majesty. Allow me to demonstrate humanity's true potential. You may find we have more to offer than you realize." A ripple of surprise moves through the council. Queen Gaia's markings pulse with intrigue, her initial anger giving way to amusement. "Such audacity," she muses. "Very well, human. You shall have your chance. Meet me in my personal chambers, and we shall see if your species is truly as remarkable as you claim." As the Queen dismisses the council and glides towards the exit, Adam follows, acutely aware of the gravity of the situation. His eyes inadvertently trace the alluring curves of Queen Gaia's physique, and a dangerous idea begins to form in his mind. Perhaps there's an unconventional way to change the Queen's perception of humanity. The opulent quarters of Queen Gaia are a stark contrast to the sterile halls of the mothership. Bioluminescent plants cast a soft glow over alien artworks and strange, pulsating sculptures. Adam stands before the Queen, his heart racing as he begins to explain human customs. "Your Majesty, humans value personal connections. Our mating rituals, for example, involve intimate contact that goes beyond mere reproduction," Adam explains, carefully gauging the Queen's reaction. Queen Gaia's markings flicker with curiosity. "What strange practices do you speak of, human?" Adam takes a deep breath. "We engage in mouth-to-mouth contact, a practice we call kissing. It's a sign of affection and desire." The Queen's face contorts in disgust. How revolting! Sakari reproduction is a delicate dance of pheromones and skin contact. Your human ways sound barbaric. Sensing an opportunity, Adam steps closer. "Perhaps a demonstration would change your mind, Your Majesty. Allow me to show you the nuances of human intimacy." Queen Gaia hesitates, her curiosity warring with her revulsion. Finally, she nods. "Very well, human." Show me this kissing of yours. As Adam leans in, his heart pounding, the chamber doors burst open. Sakari guards pour in, misinterpreting the scene before them. In an instant, Adam finds himself pinned to the ground, accused of attempting to assassinate their queen. "Take him to the brig," Queen Gaia commands, her voice shaken. As Adam is dragged away, he catches a final glimpse of the queen. Despite her outward anger, he notices a flicker of intrigue in her luminous eyes. Thrown into a cold, alien cell, Adam sinks to the floor. The gravity of his actions hits him like a physical blow. He may have just sparked an interstellar incident, potentially dooming Earth to invasion or destruction by the technologically superior Sakari. Meanwhile, Queen Gaia dismisses her guards and retreats to her private meditation chamber. She touches her lips, remembering the brief moment before the interruption. A conflict rages within her. The diplomatic crisis she now faces warring with a growing fascination with human mating practices. As Adam contemplates Earth's fate from his cell, and Queen Gaia grapples with her new perceptions, the future of human-Sakari relations hangs in the balance, hinging on a kiss that never quite happened. The cold, sterile walls of the Sakari brig seemed to close in on Adam as he sat on the hard metal bench, his head in his hands. The gravity of his actions deeply affected upon him, each passing moment a reminder of how quickly his diplomatic mission had unraveled. The silence of the cell was broken only by the occasional hum of energy fields and the distant echoes of alien machinery. As Adam contemplated the potential consequences of his failed attempt at cultural exchange, a faint whirring sound caught his attention. He looked up to see a small, spider-like maintenance droid scuttling across the ceiling of his cell. Its multiple eyes focused on him, scanning his form with an eerie precision. A spark of inspiration struck Adam. His diplomatic training had included rudimentary knowledge of xenotechnology, and he recognized the droid as a common model used throughout the galaxy for ship maintenance. With careful movements, he began to gesture towards the droid, his fingers forming intricate patterns in the air. The droid paused its work, its ocular sensors zeroing in on Adam's hands. Encouraged by this response, Adam leaned forward and whispered a series of commands, his voice barely audible even in the quiet of the cell. "MX unit," he murmured, recalling the designation for this type of droid. "I have an urgent message for Queen Gaia. Can you deliver it?" The droid's eyes flickered, processing the request. After a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, it gave a small chirp of affirmation. Adam's heart leapt with hope. Quickly, he relayed his message, explaining the misunderstanding and requesting another audience with the Queen. The droid recorded his words, its internal systems converting them into a holographic message. With another chirp, it scurried into a small maintenance duct, disappearing from view. As the droid made its way through the labyrinthine ventilation system of the Sakari mothership, Queen Gaia found herself pacing in her private botanical garden. The vast chamber was a riot of color and alien shapes, filled with exotic flora from across the galaxy. Bioluminescent flowers pulsed in time with her agitated steps, their soft glow reflecting off her blue skin. The Queen's mind was in turmoil, replaying the events in her chamber over and over. The human's audacity, the near kiss, the violent interruption. It all swirled in her thoughts like a cosmic storm. Her markings flickered with conflicting emotions. Curiosity, anger, and something else she couldn't quite name. A soft beat drew her attention to a small vent near the ground. The maintenance droid emerged, its spindly legs carrying it swiftly to her feet. Before she could demand an explanation for the intrusion, a holographic projection sprang to life above the droid's body. Adam's face appeared, his expression earnest and determined. As his message played out, explaining the cultural misunderstanding and pleading for another chance, Queen Gaia found herself leaning in, captivated by the human's resourcefulness. When the message ended, she stood in silence for a long moment, her luminous eyes fixed on the spot where Adam's image had been. With a decisive gesture, she summoned her personal guard. Commander Zorn appeared almost instantly, his massive, reptilian form filling the garden's entrance. Cybernetic implants glinted along his scales as he bowed to his queen. "Bring the human to me," Queen Gaia ordered, her voice leaving no room for question. Discreetly. Zorn's eyes narrowed, but he nodded in compliance. "As you wish, Your Majesty, but I must advise caution. This human has already proven himself unpredictable." "Your concerns are noted, Commander," the Queen replied coolly. "Now carry out my orders." As Zorn left to retrieve Adam, Queen Gaia turned her attention to a particularly rare specimen of crystalline flora, its faceted petals refracting light into a dazzling display. She needed to center herself before confronting the human again. Meanwhile, Adam tensed as he heard heavy footsteps approaching his cell. The force field dissipated, revealing the imposing figure of Commander Zorn. The Sakari Guard cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on Adam. "On your feet, human," Zorn growled. "The Queen has requested your presence. Any false move, and I will not hesitate to terminate you. Is that clear?" Adam nodded, rising slowly. "Crystal clear, Commander." As they made their way through the winding corridors of the mothership, Adam couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technology surrounding him. Holographic displays flickered with alien script, and energy conduits pulsed with power beyond human understanding. He filed away every detail, acutely aware that this information could be vital if diplomacy failed. The doors to the botanical garden hissed open, revealing a breathtaking vista of alien plant life. Adam's eyes widened as he took in the impossible colors and shapes of the flora around him. At the center of it all stood Queen Gaia, her bioluminescent markings pulsing softly in the garden's ethereal light. "Leave us, Commander," she said, her eyes never leaving Adam. Zorn hesitated, his scaled hand tightening on his weapon. "Your Majesty, I must protest Dash." "That will be all, Commander," Queen Gaia interrupted, her tone brooking no argument. With a reluctant nod, Zorn backed out of the garden, the doors sealing shut behind him. Adam and Queen Gaia were alone once more, the air between them charged with unspoken tension. "Your message was intriguing, human," the Queen began, her luminous eyes studying Adam intently. "You claim there was a misunderstanding. Explain yourself." Adam took a deep breath, knowing that his next words could determine the fate of Earth-Sakari relations. "Your Majesty, I apologize for the confusion earlier. My actions were not an attempt on your life, but rather a demonstration of a human custom. One that I now realize I should have explained more thoroughly before attempting." Queen Gaia's markings flickered with interest. "Go on." "The act I was about to perform is called a kiss," Adam continued, his voice growing more confident. "It's a sign of affection among humans, often used in courtship rituals. It involves the touching of lips and can convey a range of emotions from fondness to passionate desire." The Queen's expression shifted from skepticism to curiosity. "And this kiss, it holds significant meaning in human culture?" Adam nodded eagerly. "It's just one aspect of human intimacy, Your Majesty. Our relationships are complex, involving emotional connections as well as physical ones. We have a rich tapestry of customs and rituals surrounding love, friendship, and partnership." As Adam spoke, describing the intricacies of human courtship and the depth of human emotions, he noticed a change in Queen Gaia's demeanor. Her initial disdain seemed to melt away, replaced by genuine intrigue. "Perhaps," the Queen mused, her voice softer than before, "we have been too hasty in our judgment of your species. Your ways are different, but not without merit." Seizing the moment, Adam pressed forward with an idea that had been forming in his mind. "Your Majesty, I propose a cultural exchange program between humans and Sakari. Allow me to stay aboard your ship as Earth's representative. I can work closely with you to bridge the gap between our species, to foster understanding and cooperation." Queen Gaia considered his words, her markings pulsing with rapid patterns as she thought. Finally, she spoke. "Your proposal is interesting, human. I will consider it. For now, you will be released from custody and given guest quarters aboard the ship. You will remain under observation, and you will continue to educate me about human customs." Adam's heart soared at her words. It wasn't a full victory, but it was a start. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I promise you won't regret this decision." As Queen Gaia summoned a subordinate to escort Adam to his new quarters, neither of them noticed the small surveillance device hidden among the exotic foliage. In a secluded command center elsewhere on the ship, Commander Zorn watched the exchange with growing concern, his cybernetic implants humming as he began to formulate a plan to counter this new threat to Sakari superiority. As Commander Zorn retreated to his command center, the seeds of his plan taking root, the Sakari mothership entered its nocturnal cycle. The ambient lighting dimmed, mimicking the soothing darkness of the Sakari homeworld. For Adam, however, sleep proved elusive. The human diplomat tossed and turned in his guest quarters, his mind racing with the events of the past day. The cell, the droid, the audience with Queen Gaia. It all seemed like a whirlwind of alien experiences. As he finally drifted off, his dreams were filled with swirling bioluminescent patterns and the echo of the Queen's melodious voice. A soft chime roused Adam from his fitful slumber. He blinked, momentarily disoriented by the unfamiliar surroundings. The walls of his quarters shimmered with a subtle, pearlescent glow, gently increasing in brightness to simulate dawn. "Human Adam," a disembodied voice announced, "your presence is requested in Queen Gaia's private study. Please prepare yourself and follow the guidance lights." Adam quickly dressed in the clothing provided, a sleek, form-fitting suit that seemed to adjust to his body temperature. As he stepped into the corridor, a series of pulsing lights appeared on the floor, guiding him through the labyrinthine passages of the mothership. The doors to Queen Gaia's study slid open with a soft hiss. Adam's eyes widened as he took in the sight before him. The circular room was dominated by holographic displays of various planetary systems, their swirling celestial bodies casting ever-changing patterns of light across the walls. Queen Gaia stood at the center, her bioluminescent markings glowing softly in the dim light. She turned to face Adam, her luminous eyes appraising him. "Welcome, Adam of Earth," she said, her voice carrying a hint of warmth that hadn't been present during their previous encounters. "I trust you found your quarters satisfactory?" Adam nodded, still somewhat awestruck by the display around him. "Yes, Your Majesty. Thank you for your hospitality." The Queen's markings pulsed briefly, a gesture Adam was beginning to recognize as a sign of approval. "Good. We have much to accomplish today. I have arranged for you to participate in a series of Sakari rituals and customs. It is my hope that this will deepen your understanding of our culture and, in turn, allow you to better represent humanity in our exchange." Before Adam could respond, Queen Gaia was already moving towards the exit. "Come," she said. "We begin with the traditional greeting ceremony." Adam followed the Queen through a series of corridors, eventually arriving at a large, domed chamber. Several high-ranking Sakari officials were gathered, their ornate robes shimmering with bioluminescent patterns. Queen Gaia turned to Adam. "Observe carefully, then attempt to replicate the greeting." The Sakari officials began a complex series of gestures, their limbs moving in fluid, almost dance-like motions. Accompanying the movements were vocalizations that ranged from low thrums to high-pitched trills. Adam watched intently, trying to memorize the intricate sequence. When it was his turn, he took a deep breath and began. His movements were clumsy in comparison to the graceful Sakari, and his attempts at the vocalizations came out as awkward squawks and rumbles. The assembled aliens chittered amongst themselves, their markings flashing in patterns that Adam assumed indicated amusement. He felt his face grow hot with embarrassment. Queen Gaia, however, placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Do not be discouraged," she said. "Your willingness to learn and adapt is commendable. With practice, you will improve." The rest of the morning passed in a blur of alien experiences. Queen Gaia led Adam on a tour of the mothership's scientific facilities, explaining the various experiments and studies being conducted. In one laboratory, Adam found himself face-to-face with a containment unit housing a small, gelatinous creature. "Fascinating," he murmured, leaning in for a closer look. "What is it?" "A shapeshifter from the Andromeda Galaxy," Queen Gaia explained. "We are studying its unique cellular structure for potential medical applications." Suddenly, the creature lunged at the transparent barrier. Adam, startled by the sudden movement, stumbled backward. He collided with Queen Gaia, his back pressing against her chest. A visible ripple of bioluminescence cascaded across the Queen's skin at the contact. Queen Gaia quickly stepped away, her markings pulsing rapidly. "Perhaps we should move on," she said, her voice slightly strained. As they exited the laboratory, neither of them noticed Commander Zorn watching from the shadows, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused on their retreating forms. Later that day, Adam found himself standing before the entrance to the Sakari Council chamber. Queen Gaia explained the significance of the meeting he was about to observe. "This is a rare opportunity," she said. "Few non-Sakari have ever witnessed our decision-making process." As the doors slid open, Adam was enveloped in a sweet-smelling mist. Queen Gaia noticed his questioning look. "The mist contains pheromones that enhance cognitive function and promote harmony among council members," she explained. "It is an integral part of our governance." Adam nodded, trying to take in the alien concept. As they entered the chamber, he began to feel a strange sensation. His head felt light, and the room seemed to sway slightly. He blinked hard, trying to focus on the proceedings. The council members were engaged in a heated debate, their markings flashing in rapid patterns. Adam struggled to follow the conversation, the words becoming jumbled in his mind. The sweet scent of the mist grew stronger, and he felt his knees begin to buckle. "Your Majesty," he managed to mumble, "I don't feel." Before he could finish his sentence, Adam's world tilted sideways. He stumbled, his arms flailing as he lost his balance. With a splash, he fell into a large ornamental fountain at the center of the chamber. The last thing Adam saw before losing consciousness was Queen Gaia's startled face as she dove into the fountain after him, her robes dissolving in the specialized liquid. Then darkness claimed him, leaving the fate of his diplomatic mission hanging in the balance. Adam's eyes fluttered open, his vision blurry as he gasped for air. He found himself cradled in Queen Gaia's arms, both of them soaked in the fountain's strange liquid. The Queen's bioluminescent markings pulsed rapidly, reflecting her concern. "Are you all right, Adam?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. He nodded weakly, still dizzy from the pheromone-laden mist. "I think so. What happened?" Before Queen Gaia could respond, a commotion erupted in the council chamber. Sakari officials crowded around, their markings flashing in agitation. Commander Zorn pushed his way to the front, his cybernetic eye whirring as he assessed the situation. "Your Majesty," Zorn said, his voice barely concealing his disdain. "Perhaps it would be best if the human were removed from the chamber. Clearly, he is not suited for our environment." Queen Gaia's eyes narrowed as she helped Adam to his feet. "No, Commander. This incident only proves that we must work harder to understand our physiological differences. In fact, I believe it is time we take more drastic measures to ensure the success of our cultural exchange." She turned to address the council, her voice ringing with authority. "Esteemed colleagues, I propose that the human diplomat and I participate in the luminous fusion ritual." A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. Adam, still unsteady on his feet, looked at Queen Gaia in confusion. "The what ritual?" "It is a sacred bonding ceremony," she explained, her markings pulsing softly. "Typically reserved for high-ranking officials, it will demonstrate our commitment to fostering understanding between our species." Commander Zorn stepped forward, his scaled fists clenched. "Your Majesty, I must object. This ritual is not meant for outsiders. It goes against our most sacred traditions." Queen Gaia's markings flashed defiantly. "Our traditions must evolve if we are to grow as a species, Commander. The ritual will proceed as I have decreed." As the council erupted into heated debate, Queen Gaia led Adam from the chamber. They walked in silence through the winding corridors of the mothership, their footsteps echoing softly. "I apologize for not consulting you first," Queen Gaia said as they approached a set of ornate doors. "But I believe this ritual is our best chance at bridging the gap between our peoples." Adam nodded, his curiosity overriding his apprehension. "I trust your judgment, Your Majesty. What does this ritual entail?" The door slid open, revealing a circular chamber bathed in a warm, pulsating light. Intricate patterns adorned the walls, seeming to shift and move as Adam watched. "The luminous fusion is a deeply spiritual experience," Queen Gaia explained as they entered. "It allows participants to share thoughts, emotions, and even physical sensations. It is said that those who undergo the ritual gain a profound understanding of one another." As she spoke, two Sakari attendants approached, carrying bundles of shimmering fabric. Queen Gaia accepted hers with a nod. "These are our ceremonial garments. They are made from a special bioluminescent material that responds to our emotional and physical states." Adam took his bundle, marveling at the way the fabric seemed to ripple and glow at his touch. As he changed into the garment, he noticed it adjusting to fit his body perfectly. When they were both dressed, Queen Gaia led Adam to the center of the chamber. A warm, glowing mist began to fill the room, enhancing the Sakari Queen's natural bioluminescence. "We will now begin the synchronized movements," she said, her voice taking on a ritualistic tone. "Try to match my motions as best you can." As they started the ritual, Adam found himself moving in harmony with Queen Gaia. Their bodies swayed and undulated, the bioluminescent patterns on their garments beginning to glow brightly. Suddenly, Adam felt a rush of intense emotion wash over him. His heart raced, and his skin tingled with an electric sensation. He saw Queen Gaia's markings pulse erratically, her eyes widening in surprise. "Something's wrong," she gasped, her voice strained. "The sensations are much stronger than they should be." Before Adam could respond, he felt an irresistible pull towards the Sakari Queen. Their bodies drew closer, the bioluminescent patterns on their garments merging and swirling in a dazzling display of light and color. As their bodies made contact, Adam's mind exploded with a kaleidoscope of alien thoughts and emotions. He could feel Queen Gaia's shock, her fascination, and a deep, underlying curiosity about humanity. The chamber's energy field reacted to their combined bioluminescence, enveloping them in a cocoon of pulsating light. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Adam and Queen Gaia's minds merged completely. He saw flashes of her childhood on a distant world, felt the weight of her responsibilities as a ruler, and understood the complex social structures of Sakari society. As the intensity of the experience began to wane, Adam became aware of the shocked murmurs of the Sakari officials observing the ritual. He and Queen Gaia stood in the center of the chamber, their bodies still in close contact, surrounded by a crowd of fascinated and appalled onlookers. Queen Gaia's markings pulsed softly as she regained her composure. Her luminous eyes met Adam's, and he saw in them a new depth of understanding. "It seems," she said softly, her voice carrying a hint of wonder, "that our connection runs deeper than we could have imagined." As the implications of what had just transpired began to sink in, Adam realized that their shared experience had irrevocably altered the course of human-Sakari relations. The chamber buzzed with excited and fearful whispers, but all Adam could focus on was the lingering sensation of Queen Gaia's mind touching his own. In the shadows of the chamber, unnoticed by the stunned observers, Commander Zorn slipped away, his cybernetic implants humming as he processed the unexpected turn of events. His failed attempt to sabotage the ritual had only served to bring Adam and Queen Gaia closer together. And now he would need to devise a new plan to protect what he saw as the purity of Sakari culture. As Adam was escorted back to his quarters, his knees going weak from the intense experience, he couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had changed. The boundaries between human and Sakari had blurred, and the implications of this new connection were yet to be fully understood. The mental link forged during the luminous fusion ritual had left an indelible mark on both Adam and Queen Gaia, altering the course of human-Sakari relations in ways they were only beginning to comprehend. In the days following the ritual, Adam found himself navigating the complex social landscape of the Sakari mothership with newfound ease. The alien language, once an incomprehensible series of clicks and trills, now flowed from his lips with surprising fluency. He could read the subtle flashes of bioluminescence that rippled across Sakari's skin, decoding emotions and intentions that had previously been hidden from him. As Adam walked through the bustling corridors of the mothership, he overheard snippets of conversation among the Sakari crew. Their markings pulsed with a mix of curiosity and apprehension as they discussed the implications of the ritual. "Did you hear about the human and the queen?" One Sakari whispered, its skin flickering with shades of blue and green. "They say their minds merged completely during the luminous fusion." Another Sakari, its markings a deep purple, responded, "Unprecedented. What does this mean for our people?" Adam quickened his pace, acutely aware of the growing tension aboard the ship. He made his way to Queen Gaia's private chambers, where he found her engaged in a heated discussion with several high-ranking officials. As he entered, Queen Gaia's markings flashed with a warmth that made Adam's heart race. She turned to address him, her voice carrying a hint of excitement. "Adam, I'm glad you're here. I have a proposal that I believe will change the course of our diplomatic mission." The Queen outlined her plan for a Sakari delegation to visit Earth, with Adam as their official guide. As she spoke, Adam could sense the resistance from some of the officials present. Their markings pulsed with shades of red and orange, indicating skepticism and concern. One of the officials, his cybernetic implants whirring softly, stepped forward. "Your Majesty, with all due respect, this is a rash decision. We know so little about the humans and their world. It could be dangerous." Adam recognized the speaker as Commander Zorn, his voice infused with barely concealed disdain. The commander's single organic eye narrowed as it focused on Adam, while his cybernetic eye emitted a soft, menacing hum. Queen Gaia's markings flashed defiantly. "It is precisely because we know so little that we must go. This is an opportunity to observe human culture firsthand and make informed decisions about our future relations." As the debate raged on, Adam found himself drawn into the discussion. Drawing on his newfound understanding of Sakari customs, he addressed the High Council members present. "Esteemed counselors, I understand your concerns, but consider the potential benefits of this mission, the knowledge we could gain, the bonds we could forge. Is that not worth the risk?" His words seemed to have an impact. The counselors' markings shifted, displaying hues of contemplation and curiosity. After several more hours of intense deliberation, the High Council reluctantly agreed to Queen Gaia's proposal. As the meeting adjourned, Adam noticed Commander Zorn slip away, his cybernetic eye pulsing with an ominous red light. Something about the commander's demeanor set Adam on edge, but he pushed the thought aside as Queen Gaia approached him. "Thank you for your support, Adam," she said, her markings pulsing with gratitude. "Your insights were invaluable. Now, we have much to prepare for our journey to Earth." Over the next few days, Adam worked closely with Queen Gaia to plan their Earth mission. They spent long hours together in her private study, poring over maps and cultural databases. The physical proximity reignited the intense connection they had experienced during the ritual, leading to several charged moments of near intimacy. During one such session, as they leaned over a holographic display of Earth's major cities, their hands brushed against each other. A visible surge of bioluminescence rippled across Queen Gaia's skin, her markings pulsing with an intensity that took Adam's breath away. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the air between them seemed to crackle with unspoken tension. Adam could feel the ghost of Queen Gaia's thoughts in his mind, a lingering effect of their mental link. Her curiosity, her fascination with him and his world, and something deeper, more primal. Queen Gaia broke the silence first, her voice slightly strained. "We should continue with our preparations. There's still much to do before we depart." Adam nodded, forcing himself to focus on the task at hand. They both knew the potential consequences of pursuing their growing feelings. The success of the mission, the future of human-Sakari relations, hung in the balance. As the day of departure approached, Adam noticed an increase in activity throughout the mothership. Sakari crew members hurried about, their markings flashing with excitement and apprehension. A sleek, smaller vessel was prepared for the journey to Earth, its hull gleaming with the same bioluminescent patterns that adorned Sakari's skin. On the eve of their departure, as Adam made his way to his quarters to gather his belongings, he was confronted by Commander Zorn in a deserted corridor. The commander's cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on Adam. "I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, human," Zorn said, his organic eye narrowing. "The fate of two species rests on the outcome of this mission. Any misstep could have catastrophic consequences." Before Adam could respond, Zorn turned and strode away, leaving him with an uneasy feeling in the pit of his stomach. As he watched the commander's retreating form, Adam couldn't shake the sense that there was more to Zorn's words than a simple warning. The next morning, Adam joined Queen Gaia and the selected crew aboard the diplomatic vessel. As they prepared for departure, Commander Zorn made a last-minute request to join the mission, citing concerns for the Queen's safety. Queen Gaia, after a moment's hesitation, granted his request. As the ship detached from the mothership and set course for Earth, Adam stood at a viewing port, watching the vast expanse of space unfold before him. He felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. The success of this mission, and possibly the future of human-Sakari relations, now rested squarely on him. Queen Gaia approached, her markings pulsing softly in the dim light of the ship's interior. "Are you ready, Adam?" she asked, her voice carrying a mix of excitement and apprehension. Adam turned to her, a small smile playing on his lips. "As ready as I'll ever be, Your Majesty. Let's make history." As the ship accelerated towards Earth, neither Adam nor Queen Gaia noticed Commander Zorn watching them from the shadows, his cybernetic eye recording every interaction, every fleeting touch. The stage was set for a journey that would test the limits of interspecies diplomacy, push the boundaries of their newfound connection, and potentially reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. As the ship accelerated towards Earth, a palpable tension filled the air, mingling with the excitement of the impending diplomatic mission. The journey to Earth was relatively uneventful, filled with final preparations and strategy sessions. As they approached the blue planet, Adam felt a surge of anticipation. He had been away from home for so long, and now he was returning as an ambassador for an alien species. "We're entering Earth's atmosphere," the pilot announced, her markings pulsing with focus. Adam nodded, moving to the control panel. "Activating cloaking device now," he said, his fingers dancing over the alien interface with newfound ease. The ship shimmered, becoming invisible to Earth's defense systems. Queen Gaia stood beside him, her luminous eyes wide with wonder as she took in the sight of Earth growing larger in the view screen. "It's beautiful," she breathed, her markings flickering with awe. The ship descended smoothly, landing in a clearing outside Washington, D.C. As the engines powered down, Adam turned to the assembled Sakari delegation. "Remember, we need to keep a low profile. Your markings should be dimmed at all times while we're outside." The group nodded in unison, their bioluminescence fading to a subtle glow. Adam led them out of the ship, watching as Queen Gaia took her first steps on Earth. Her feet sank slightly into the soft grass, and she paused, absorbing the sensation. The ground. "It's so different," she murmured, her toes curling into the earth. As they made their way through the wooded area, Adam kept a watchful eye on their surroundings. He had arranged a meeting with Elena Rodriguez, a trusted colleague from the State Department, but they had to reach the rendezvous point without being detected. The Sakari moved with grace, but their otherworldly appearance was impossible to completely disguise. Queen Gaia's attention darted from tree to tree, her markings pulsing softly with each new discovery. Suddenly, a rustling sound caught their attention. A group of deer emerged from the underbrush, their ears twitching as they regarded the strange procession. The Sakari froze, unsure how to react to these unfamiliar creatures. Queen Gaia, overcome with curiosity, took a step forward. "Fascinating," she whispered, reaching out a hand. Her movement startled the deer. They bolted, their white tails flashing as they bounded away. The sudden motion caught Queen Gaia off guard. She stumbled on the uneven ground, losing her balance. Adam reacted instinctively, lunging forward to catch her, his arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her close to steady her. As their bodies pressed together, Queen Gaia's markings flared brilliantly, casting a dazzling light show across the clearing. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Adam could feel the warmth of her skin, the rapid pulse of her alien heart. Their eyes met, and he felt an echo of the connection they had shared during the luminous fusion ritual. The moment was shattered by Commander Zorn's harsh voice. "Unhand the Queen immediately," he barked, roughly pulling Adam away. His cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on Adam, its red glow intensifying. As Adam stumbled back, he caught a flash of movement from the corner of his eye. A hiker, drawn by the commotion, stood at the edge of the clearing, smartphone raised. Before anyone could react, he snapped several photos and disappeared into the woods. "We've been compromised," Adam said, his mind racing. "We need to move now." As they hurried towards the meeting point, Commander Zorn fell into step beside Adam. "Your reckless behavior is jeopardizing this entire mission," he hissed, his organic eye narrowing. "If you continue to manipulate the Queen's emotions dash." "Manipulate?" Adam cut him off, anger flaring. "I'm trying to ensure the success of this mission, just like everyone else." Their argument was interrupted as they arrived at the rendezvous location. A woman stepped out from behind a tree, her eyes widening as she took in the alien delegation. Elena Rodriguez, senior diplomat, quickly composed herself and stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth," she said, her voice steady despite the shock evident on her face. "We've arranged an emergency meeting with key officials at a secure location. However," she turned to Adam, her expression grave, "we have a situation. Those photos your hiker friend took? They're already spreading on social media. Rumors of alien contact are exploding online." Adam felt a weight settle in his stomach. This was exactly the scenario they had hoped to avoid. As Elena led them to a group of unmarked vehicles, Queen Gaia pulled Adam aside. "Adam, she began, her markings pulsing with confusion. "Everything here is so strange. The sights, the sounds, the sensations. And these feelings I'm experiencing." She trailed off, her luminous eyes searching his face. Before Adam could respond, they were ushered into separate vehicles. As the convoy pulled away, he caught sight of Commander Zorn entering the same car as Queen Gaia, a satisfied smirk on his face. The drive to the Pentagon was tense, with Adam's mind whirling with possible strategies to salvage the situation. Halfway there, his secure communication device buzzed. The message from his superiors was blunt. The photos had gone viral. Governments worldwide were demanding answers. As they approached the underground facility, Adam steeled himself for the challenges ahead. He would need every ounce of his diplomatic skills to navigate this crisis. The fate of human-Sakari relations hung in the balance, and the real test was just beginning. As the convoy of unmarked vehicles wound its way through the streets of Washington, D.C., Adam's mind raced with potential strategies to salvage the deteriorating situation. The vehicles pulled into a concealed entrance beneath the Pentagon, descending into an underground facility. As they disembarked, Adam immediately noticed something was amiss with Queen Gaia. Her usual graceful movements were unsteady, and her bioluminescent markings pulsed erratically, visible even through her concealing clothing. "Your Majesty, are you all right?" Adam asked, stepping closer to her. Queen Gaia's luminous eyes met his, unfocused and confused. I feel strange, Adam. Everything is too bright, too loud." Adam gently steadied her, acutely aware of the concerned looks from the human officials gathering around them. He caught Elena Rodriguez's eye and nodded subtly, silently communicating the need for discretion. "This way, please," Elena said, gesturing toward a nearby elevator. "We prepared a secure conference room for our meeting." As they entered the high-security area, Adam noticed Commander Zorn hovering close to Queen Gaia, his cybernetic eye whirring incessantly. The commander's expression was a mix of concern and something else Adam couldn't quite place. The conference room was filled with top-ranking human officials, including the President, Secretary of State, and military leaders. Adam took a deep breath, steeling himself for the task ahead. "Esteemed leaders of Earth," he began, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. "I present to you Queen Gaia of the Sakari people. Before we proceed, I must explain some crucial aspects of Sakari physiology and customs to prevent any misunderstandings." As Adam spoke, he kept a watchful eye on Queen Gaia. Her condition seemed to be worsening, her markings pulsing more erratically with each passing moment. He quickened his explanation, hoping to buy time to assess the situation. Suddenly, in the middle of a crucial point about Sakari diplomatic protocols, Queen Gaia lost control. Her body erupted in a dazzling display of bioluminescence, filling the room with pulsating light. The human officials recoiled in shock, some reaching for concealed weapons. "Please remain calm," Adam shouted, placing himself between the startled humans and the incapacitated queen. "This is unexpected but not a threat. Queen Gaia needs medical attention." As chaos erupted in the room, Commander Zorn stepped forward, his voice cutting through the commotion. "This is precisely what I feared," he declared, his organic eye narrowing as he glared at Adam. "The human's presence is clearly detrimental to our queen's health. We must end this misguided mission immediately and return to our ship." Adam's mind raced, processing the situation. The erratic behavior, the loss of control over bioluminescence, it all seemed eerily familiar. His enhanced understanding of Sakari physiology, gained during the luminous fusion ritual, sparked a realization. These symptoms mirrored the effects of certain Earth-based intoxicants. "Wait," Adam said, his voice low but firm. He turned to Elena. "We need to initiate emergency medical protocols. Now." Elena nodded, quickly tapping commands into her secure tablet. Within moments, a team of human and Sakari medical experts rushed into the room. As the medical team began their assessment, Adam noticed Commander Zorn shifting uncomfortably, his cybernetic eye pulsing with an intense red light. The pieces started to fall into place. "Commander," Adam said, his voice laden with suspicion, "you've been unusually close to the Queen since we left the ship. Care to explain why?" Zorn's organic eye widened, a flicker of panic crossing his face. I was simply concerned for her safety. This hostile planet Dash." "Hostile?" the Secretary of State interjected, her voice sharp. "We've done nothing but accommodate your delegation since your arrival." The tension in the room ratcheted up as human and Sakari alike turned their attention to the increasingly agitated commander. Adam took a step closer, his eyes locked on Zorn's cybernetic implant. "That eye of yours," Adam said, realization dawning. "It's not just for enhanced vision, is it? What have you done to Queen Gaia?" Zorn's composure cracked. With a snarl, he shoved Adam aside and bolted for the door. Adam stumbled, but quickly regained his footing, shouting, "Stop him!" The room erupted into chaos as Zorn barreled through the stunned officials. Human security forces sprang into action, but the Sakari commander's superior strength and agility made him a formidable opponent. Adam took off in pursuit, his heart pounding. The chase led them through a maze of corridors, Zorn's cybernetic enhancements giving him an edge in speed. But Adam's familiarity with human architecture allowed him to anticipate Zorn's movements, slowly closing the gap. As they rounded a corner, Zorn thumped his hand into a control panel, triggering an emergency lockdown. Blast doors slammed shut, sealing off sections of the facility. Adam narrowly avoided being crushed, sliding under a descending door at the last second. The lockdown had an unintended consequence. Several human officials found themselves trapped with the remaining Sakari delegates. Forced into close proximity, impromptu conversations began, bridging the gap between the two species in ways formal diplomacy never could. Adam continued his pursuit, his diplomatic training kicking in even as he ran. "Commander Zorn," he called out, his voice echoing through the empty corridors. "Whatever your plan was, it's over. Let's talk about this. There's still a chance to salvage the situation." Zorn's response came in the form of an energy blast that narrowly missed Adam's head, scorching the wall behind him. The chase had led them to a maintenance area, filled with humming machinery and twisting pipes. Adam ducked behind a large conduit, his mind racing. He needed to keep Zorn talking, buy time for security to locate them. "Why, Zorn? Why sabotage the mission? What could you possibly gain from this?" "Gain?" Zorn's voice was strained, but the venom in it was clear. "I'm trying to save our people from making a catastrophic mistake. You humans are a disease, spreading chaos wherever you go. I won't let you infect our society." Adam inched around the conduit, trying to get a visual on Zorn's position. "Is that what this is about? You're afraid of change?" "Change." Zorn spat. "I've seen the corruption in your world, the violence, the decay. Our civilization has thrived for millennia without outside influence. I represent those who would keep it that way." Adam spotted movement reflected in a polished pipe. Zorn was backing towards an emergency exit, his energy weapon trained on the area where Adam was hiding. Time was running out. In a daring plan, Adam grabbed a nearby wrench and hurled it across the room. The clanging distracted Zorn for a crucial second, allowing Adam to lunge forward. He tackled the commander, the two of them crashing into a bank of controls. Zorn's superior strength allowed him to throw Adam off, but the human's quick reflexes let him knock the energy weapon from the commander's grasp. The two grappled on the floor, a furious tangle of limbs and flashing bioluminescence, just as Zorn gained the upper hand. Pinning Adam to the ground, the maintenance bay doors burst open. Human security forces flooded in, weapons trained on the Sakari commander. "It's over, Zorn," Adam gasped, struggling to catch his breath. "Stand down." As Zorn was restrained, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "You don't understand," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not alone. There are many among our people who share my views. This alliance will never be accepted." Adam's mind reeled at the implications. The existence of an isolationist faction within Sakari society added a new layer of complexity to an already delicate situation. As he was led away, Zorn's words hung in the air, a stark reminder of the challenges that lay ahead in forging a lasting peace between their two species. Back in the medical bay, the combined human-Sakari medical team worked feverishly to stabilize Queen Gaia's condition. Adam paced outside, his thoughts a whirlwind of concern for the Queen and apprehension about the future of their diplomatic mission. Suddenly, a strange sensation washed over him, a familiar presence touching the edges of his mind. His eyes widened as he realized what was happening. The mental link between him and Queen Gaia, forged during the luminous fusion ritual, was reactivating. As the connection strengthened, Adam was flooded with a torrent of alien sensations and emotions. He gasped, overwhelmed by the vastness of the Sakari consciousness. At the same time, he could sense Queen Gaia experiencing human emotions with an intensity she had never known before. In that moment of shared consciousness, a profound understanding blossomed between them. Adam gained insights into the intricate workings of Sakari society, while Queen Gaia experienced the depth and complexity of human nature. As their minds intertwined, a new foundation for diplomacy began to take shape, one built on an unprecedented level of interspecies empathy. The challenges ahead were immense, but in this moment of connection, both Adam and Queen Gaia knew that the potential for a true alliance between their peoples had never been greater. The door to the medical bay slid open, breaking their mental link. A human doctor emerged, looking tired but relieved. "She's stable," he announced. "We've successfully counteracted the foreign agent in her system. She's asking to see you, Mr. Chun." Adam nodded, taking a deep breath to center himself. As he stepped into the medical bay, he knew that the events of the past few hours had irrevocably altered the course of human-Sakari relations. Whatever came next, he and Queen Gaia would face it together, their unique bond serving as a bridge between two vastly different civilizations, vastly different worlds. Queen Gaia's eyes fluttered open, her luminous gaze settling on Adam as he entered the medical bay. The connection between them hummed with renewed intensity, a vibrant undercurrent of shared consciousness that made the air feel charged with possibility. "Adam," she said, her voice soft but steady. I can feel you, your thoughts, your emotions. It's overwhelming." Adam moved closer, acutely aware of the heightened sensitivity between them. "I feel it too, Your Majesty." The luminous fusion ritual seems to have created a bond far deeper than we anticipated. As Queen Gaia sat up, her bioluminescent markings pulsed in sync with Adam's heartbeat. The human medical staff exchanged puzzled glances, clearly unsure how to interpret this alien phenomenon. "We need to talk," Queen Gaia said, her eyes never leaving Adam's. "Privately." With a nod to the medical team, Adam helped the Queen to her feet. They made their way to a secure meeting room, the air between them crackling with unspoken tension. Once inside, Queen Gaia turned to Adam, her expression a mix of wonder and confusion. "These sensations, these human emotions, they're so vivid, so intense. Is this how your kind always feels?" Adam smiled, feeling a rush of affection through their mental link. Not always, but often, it's part of what makes us human. As they continued to discuss the implications of their enhanced connection, Adam found himself drawn closer to the Queen. Her bioluminescent markings danced hypnotically, matching the rhythm of his pulse. Without conscious thought, their faces inched closer. Queen Gaia's eyes widened with curiosity and something else. Desire? In a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, their lips met. The kiss sent shockwaves through both of them. Queen Gaia's markings flared brilliantly, bathing the room in dazzling light. Adam gasped, overwhelmed by the flood of alien sensations coursing through him. As they parted, breathless and stunned, neither noticed the small security camera in the corner of the room, its lens capturing every moment of their intimate exchange. Outside the room, a junior staff member stared at the security feed in shock. His fingers trembled as he reached for his comm device. "Sir," he stammered to his superior, "you need to see this. Now." Within minutes, news of the human-alien kiss spread through the facility like wildfire. Heated debates erupted among officials, with some hailing it as a breakthrough in interspecies relations, while others expressed grave concerns about potential contamination and cultural misunderstandings. Adam and Queen Gaia emerged from the meeting room to find the facility in an uproar. Elena Rodriguez approached them, her expression a mix of exasperation and amusement. "So," she said, arching an eyebrow, "I hear congratulations are in order?" Adam felt his face flush. "Elena, I can explain dash." She held up a hand to stop him. "Save it for the UN meeting. You've been summoned to address the General Assembly. Both of you." As they prepared for the unprecedented diplomatic challenge ahead, the remaining Sakari delegates found themselves drawn into impromptu cultural exchanges with their human counterparts. Without Commander Zorn's oppressive influence, curiosity and goodwill flourished on both sides. In one corner, a Sakari engineer marveled at a holographic display of Earth's ecosystem. Nearby, a group of human scientists peppered a Sakari biologist with questions about alien physiology. The atmosphere of mutual discovery helped ease the tension sparked by the kiss incident. Queen Gaia, observing these interactions, felt a surge of hope. She turned to Adam, her eyes shimmering with grit. "We must seize this moment," she said. "I have an idea for how to address the situation at the UN." As they boarded the transport to New York, Adam couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The fate of human-Sakari relations hung in the balance, and their next moves would shape the future of both species. The sleek vehicle rose into the air, carrying them towards a historic confrontation at the United Nations. Adam glanced at Queen Gaia, her bioluminescence pulsing steadily in the dim cabin. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew they would face them together. As the lights of New York City appeared on the horizon, Adam steeled himself for the diplomatic storm to come. The world was about to change forever, and he was at the very center of it all. As the transport glided towards the United Nations headquarters, Adam's mind raced with the magnitude of what lay ahead. He glanced at Queen Gaia, her bioluminescent markings casting a soft glow in the dim cabin. The connection between them hummed with nervous energy. "We need to discuss our approach," Adam said softly, leaning closer to the Queen. "The world is watching, and every word we say will be scrutinized." Queen Gaia nodded, her eyes meeting his. "Indeed. But first, we must address the incident." Adam felt his face flush at the memory of their kiss. "Right, we should probably dash." His words were cut short as the transport landed with a gentle thud. The door slid open, revealing a sea of flashing cameras and shouting reporters. Adam took a deep breath, steeling himself for the chaos to come. As they stepped out, the crowd's reaction was immediate and intense. Gasps and exclamations filled the air as people caught their first glimpse of the alien queen. Queen Gaia's bioluminescent markings pulsed subtly, reacting to the overwhelming sensory input. Elena Rodriguez appeared at their side, deftly guiding them through the throng. "This way," she said tersely. "The Secretary General is waiting." They were ushered into a private meeting room, where the UN Secretary General greeted them with a mixture of awe and apprehension. "Mr. Chun, Your Majesty," he said, nodding to each in turn. "I trust you understand the gravity of the situation we find ourselves in." Adam nodded. "We do, sir, and we're prepared to address the Assembly." As they discussed the upcoming session, Adam noticed Queen Gaia's markings beginning to pulse more rapidly. He felt a corresponding quickening of his own heartbeat, their mental link amplifying the shared tension. The Secretary General's eyes widened as he noticed the synchronized display. "Fascinating," he murmured. "Is this normal?" Before Adam could respond, an aide burst into the room. "Sir, we're ready to begin. The Assembly is waiting." The walk to the General Assembly Hall felt like the longest of Adam's life. As they approached the massive doors, he could hear the buzz of hundreds of voices within. Queen Gaia's hand brushed against his, sending a visible ripple of light across her skin. "Together," she whispered, her voice steady despite the turmoil Adam could feel through their link. The doors swung open, and they stepped into a cauldron of noise and expectation. The hall fell silent as they made their way to the podium, all eyes fixed on the unlikely pair. Adam gripped the edges of the lectern, his knuckles tightening. He began his speech, carefully outlining the potential benefits of human-Sakari cooperation. As he spoke, he could feel Queen Gaia's presence in his mind, a comforting anchor amid the sea of scrutiny. "We stand at a crossroads," Adam said, his voice gaining strength. "The path we choose today will shape the future of both our species. Together, we can achieve wonders beyond our wildest dreams." As he concluded, Adam stepped back, making way for Queen Gaia. The alien monarch approached the podium with graceful purpose, her bioluminescence captivating the assembled delegates. "Esteemed representatives of Earth," she began, her voice resonating through the hall. "I come before you not just as a queen, but as a seeker of understanding." As Queen Gaia delved deeper into her speech, Adam noticed a change in her demeanor. Her markings began to pulse more erratically, and he could sense a growing turmoil through their mental link. "The connection between our peoples," she continued, her voice wavering slightly, "is not just one of politics or technology. It is one of shared values, of shared." Queen Gaia faltered, overwhelmed by the intensity of her newfound human-like emotions. Her bioluminescence flared brightly, eliciting gasps from the audience. Without thinking, Adam stepped forward, placing a supportive hand on her arm. The contact sent a visible wave of light, cascading across Queen Gaia's skin. The hall erupted in a mixture of awe and alarm. "What we have discovered," Adam said, his voice cutting through the commotion, "is a potential for understanding that transcends the boundaries of our species. This connection, unexpected as it may be, offers us a unique insight into one another." Queen Gaia regained her composure, her markings now pulsing in sync with Adam's heartbeat. "Indeed," she added, her voice stronger, "it is through this shared experience that we can truly begin to bridge the gap between our worlds." As they stood together at the podium, united in their message of cooperation, the assembly sat in stunned silence. The implications of their words and the visible manifestation of their connection were almost too much to process. In the moments that followed, the hall erupted into a cacophony of voices. Delegates argued passionately, some seeing hope in this unprecedented display, others expressing deep concern. Amidst the chaos, Adam and Queen Gaia were quickly ushered off the stage by UN security personnel. As they were led to a secure room, Adam caught snippets of the heated debates erupting in their wake. "This changes everything," he heard one delegate exclaim. "But at what cost?" another countered. As the door closed behind them, Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves alone, the weight of what had just transpired hanging heavy in the air. Their eyes met, a silent understanding passing between them. "What happens now?" Queen Gaia asked, her markings still pulsing softly. Adam shook his head, uncertainty clouding his features. "I'm not sure, but whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Outside, the world grappled with the implications of what they had witnessed. The future of human-Sakari relations hung in the balance, forever altered by an unexpected connection between two beings from vastly different worlds. As the world grappled with the implications of the UN presentation, Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves at the center of a diplomatic and scientific storm. Within days of their appearance at the General Assembly, they were whisked away to a secure compound nestled in a remote mountainous region. The facility, a sprawling complex of sleek buildings and high-tech laboratories, stood in stark contrast to the rugged natural beauty that surrounded it. As their transport touched down on the helipad, Adam felt a mix of relief and apprehension. "Welcome to your new home for now," said Dr. Evelyn Kennedy, the lead xenobiologist assigned to their case. Her piercing blue eyes studied them intently as they disembarked. "We have much to learn from you both." Queen Gaia's bioluminescent markings pulsed softly as she took in her new surroundings. "We are eager to contribute to this research, Dr. Kennedy. Our hope is that it will foster greater understanding between our species." As they were led through the compound, Adam noticed a mix of awe and curiosity in the eyes of the scientists they passed. Their unique bond had become the subject of intense speculation and study. The first few days were a whirlwind of examinations and interviews. Adam and Queen Gaia were subjected to a battery of tests, from brain scans to genetic analysis. Through it all, their mental link remained a constant presence, a comforting thread connecting them amidst the chaos. On the fourth day, Dr. Kennedy proposed a new experiment. "We'd like to test the limits of your connection," she explained, leading them to a pair of isolation chambers. "We'll gradually increase the distance between you and monitor your responses." As Adam stepped into his chamber, he felt a twinge of unease. The door sealed shut with a soft hiss, leaving him alone in the sterile white room. Through their link, he could sense Queen Gaia's similar discomfort. At first, the separation seemed manageable, but as the distance between them increased, Adam felt a growing pressure behind his eyes. His head began to throb, the pain intensifying with each passing minute. In her chamber, Queen Gaia's markings flared erratically, casting wild patterns on the walls. Her usually melodic voice came through the intercom, strained and distorted. "Adam, I feel wrong." Dr. Kennedy's voice crackled over the speakers. "Your vitals are spiking. We're ending the test now." As soon as the doors opened, Adam stumbled out, his vision blurry. He reached for Queen Gaia, their hands meeting in a desperate clasp. The moment they touched, relief flooded through them both. Queen Gaia's markings stabilized, pulsing in sync with Adam's gradually steadying heartbeat. Dr. Kennedy watched the display with a mixture of fascination and concern. "It appears your mental link has created a form of physiological dependency. We'll need to adjust our protocols accordingly." In the weeks that followed, Adam and Queen Gaia were moved to adjacent living quarters. The proximity seemed to intensify their connection. They began to share dreams, vivid and otherworldly experiences that blended human and Sakari memories. One night, Adam jolted awake, his mind filled with images of a crystalline city unlike anything he'd ever seen. He found Queen Gaia already at his door, her markings glowing softly in the darkness. "You saw my home world," she said, her voice filled with a mixture of wonder and homesickness. Adam nodded, still processing the alien beauty of the vision. It was incredible. I felt like I was really there. As they sat together, discussing the shared dream, neither noticed a small camera hidden in the corner of the room, recording their every interaction. In a secured office elsewhere in the compound, Dr. Kennedy reviewed the footage with a furrowed brow. She picked up a secure phone line, her fingers hesitating for a moment before dialing. "Sir," she said when the call connected, "I think you need to see this. The bond between the human and the alien. It's evolving in ways we never anticipated." As she hung up, Dr. Kennedy gazed out the window at the moonlit mountains. The implications of her team's findings were staggering. The lines between human and alien were blurring, and the world outside was about to change in ways no one could have predicted. Unbeknownst to the inhabitants of the compound, forces were already gathering. In cities around the globe, protesters led by former military General Marcus Blackwood rallied against what they saw as a threat to human purity. And far above the earth, aboard the Sakari mothership, Commander Zarel plotted a mission that would shake the foundations of the fledgling human-Sakari alliance. As dawn broke over the mountains, casting long shadows across the compound, Adam and Queen Gaia prepared for another day of tests and scrutiny. The weight of their unique connection and the responsibility it entailed hung heavily upon them. Yet as they walked side by side towards the main laboratory, their synchronized biorhythms told a story of two beings inexorably drawn together, standing on the precipice of a new era for both their species. The weight of their unique connection and the responsibility it entailed hung heavily upon them. Yet as they walked side by side towards the main laboratory, their synchronized biorhythms told a story of two beings inexorably drawn together, standing on the precipice of a new era for both their peoples. As they entered the lab, Dr. Kennedy greeted them with a tight smile. "Good morning," she said, her voice betraying a hint of tension. "We have a full battery of tests scheduled for today. Let's start with a comprehensive medical examination." Adam nodded, exchanging a glance with Queen Gaia. Through their mental link, he sensed her unease, but also her tenacity. They followed Dr. Kennedy to the examination room, where a team of scientists awaited them. The procedure began routinely enough, with standard vital sign checks and blood draws. However, as Dr. Kennedy analyzed the results of Queen Gaia's scans, her eyes widened in disbelief. This can't be right," she muttered, rechecking the data. "Queen Gaia, your cellular structure is changing." The Sakari monarch tilted her head, her bioluminescent markings pulsing with curiosity. "Changing how, Dr. Kennedy?" "Your physiology," Dr. Kennedy explained, her voice filled with awe. "It's adapting, becoming more human-like." The revelation sent a ripple of shock through the room. Adam felt a surge of surprise and confusion through his link with Queen Gaia. Before they could fully process this information, a deafening explosion rocked the compound. The lights flickered and died, plunging the lab into darkness. Emergency alarms blared as chaos erupted around them. "What's happening?" Adam shouted over the din. Dr. Kennedy's face was illuminated by the eerie glow of Queen Gaia's markings. "The power grid must have been compromised. We need to evacuate immediately." As they moved towards the exit, a group of masked figures burst into the room. In the confusion, Adam felt rough hands grab him, pulling him away from Queen Gaia. "No!" he yelled, struggling against his captors. He reached out desperately, his fingers brushing against Queen Gaia's for a brief moment before he was dragged away. Queen Gaia's markings flared brightly in distress. "Adam!" she cried out, her voice imbued with panic. As the distance between them grew, she felt a wave of dizziness wash over her. Dr. Kennedy grabbed Queen Gaia's arm, steadying her. "We need to get you to a secure location," she urged, guiding the disoriented queen through the darkened corridors. Outside the compound, Adam fought against his kidnappers with unexpected strength. His time spent with Queen Gaia had changed him in ways he was only beginning to understand. With a burst of adrenaline, he broke free, stumbling into the rugged mountain terrain surrounding the facility. As he ran, driven by an overwhelming need to return to Queen Gaia, he heard the sound of rotors cutting through the air. Looking up, he saw a sleek, unfamiliar craft descending towards a compound. Even from a distance, he recognized the Sakari design. Inside the facility, Dr. Kennedy and her team struggled to stabilize Queen Gaia's rapidly deteriorating condition. The Queen's breath came in short gasps, her markings pulsing erratically. Her body's reacting to the separation from Adam, Dr. Kennedy realized, her mind racing. The physiological changes must have made her more susceptible to Earth's atmosphere without his presence. As they worked feverishly to help Queen Gaia, the doors to the medical bay burst open. A group of imposing Sakari warriors entered, led by a fierce-looking female. "I am Zara," the leader announced, her voice cold and authoritative. "We are here to retrieve our queen." Dr. Kennedy stepped protectively in front of Queen Gaia. "You don't understand," she pleaded. "Her physiology has changed. Moving her now could be dangerous." Zara's eyes narrowed, her gaze shifting between the human scientist and her clearly distressed monarch. "What have you done to her?" she demanded, raising her weapon. Queen Gaia's voice, weak but clear, cut through the tension. "Zara, please. Listen to them. I am not what I once was." The Sakari warrior hesitated, confusion evident in her features. As she opened her mouth to respond, another explosion rocked the building, closer this time. Outside, Adam had encountered a group of local law enforcement responding to the compound's distress signal. After a hurried explanation, they agreed to help him return to the facility. As they approached, Adam saw the compound had become a battleground. Human extremists clashed with Sakari warriors, while panicked scientists and staff fled the chaos. Adam's heart raced, his connection to Queen Gaia pulling him forward. He could sense her distress, growing stronger with each passing moment. As he prepared to enter the fray, a new sound filled the air, the unmistakable roar of military jets. Looking up, Adam saw a formation of aircraft converging on the area. The situation was escalating rapidly, transforming from a localized incident into a potential interstellar conflict. With the world teetering on the brink of war, Adam realized that his reunion with Queen Gaia was now more than a personal quest. It had become a race against time to prevent a catastrophe that could reshape the future of both humanity and the Sakari. Steeling himself, Adam plunged into the chaos engulfing the compound, determined to reach Queen Gaia before it was too late. As Adam plunged into the chaos engulfing the compound, his enhanced senses heightened by adrenaline and his unique connection to Queen Gaia, he quickly assessed the situation. The facility had become a battleground, with human extremists clashing against Sakari warriors amidst fleeing scientists and staff. Pushing through the mayhem, Adam spotted a group of heavily armed individuals attempting to breach the main entrance. Their tactical gear and coordinated movements identified them as General Blackwood's extremists. Without hesitation, Adam sprinted towards them, his body moving with newfound agility and purpose. The first extremist barely had time to register Adam's approach before a well-placed strike sent him reeling. Adam's fist connected with precision, targeting pressure points he instinctively knew would incapacitate without causing permanent damage. This intimate knowledge of human physiology, a gift from his mental link with Queen Gaia, gave him a significant advantage. As two more attackers rushed him, Adam ducked and weaved, his movements fluid and calculated. He caught one assailant's arm, using the man's momentum to throw him into his comrade. The pair collapsed in a tangle of limbs, their weapons clattering to the ground. Inside the compound, the medical bay had become a hub of frantic activity. Dr. Kennedy worked tirelessly, her brow furrowed in concentration as she monitored Queen Gaia's rapidly deteriorating condition. The Sakari monarch's usually vibrant bioluminescent patterns flickered erratically, casting eerie shadows across the room. Zara, the leader of the Sakari extraction team, watched with a mix of suspicion and growing concern. Her hand never strayed far from her weapon, but her eyes betrayed a deep worry for her queen. "Her vital signs are becoming increasingly unstable," Dr. Kennedy announced, her voice tight with tension. "Queen Gaia's biology is shifting, becoming more human-like. It's making her vulnerable to Earth's atmosphere and pathogens." As if to emphasize the doctor's words, Queen Gaia's body convulsed, her markings flaring brightly before dimming to an alarming dullness. Dr. Kennedy's mind raced, considering and discarding potential solutions in rapid succession. Suddenly, an idea struck her. "We need Adam," she declared, turning to face Zara. A direct blood transfusion from him to Queen Gaia might stabilize her shifting physiology. His blood has been altered by their mental link. It could be the key to saving her. Zara's expression hardened, her loyalty warring with the obvious distress of her monarch. After a moment of tense silence, she nodded curtly. "I will assist in locating the human," she said, her voice clipped. As Zara moved to organize her team for the search, the compound shuddered under the impact of another explosion. The lights flickered ominously, and a new alarm began to blare. In the command center, General Blackwood surveyed the chaos with grim satisfaction. His fingers flew over the control panel, initiating a facility-wide lockdown. Blast doors slammed shut, sealing off various sections of the complex. "Let's see how our alien friends handle this," Blackwood muttered, a cold smile playing on his lips. The lockdown protocol created pockets of conflict throughout the facility, trapping groups of scientists, security personnel, and Sakari warriors in different areas. The sounds of combat echoed through the corridors, a cacophony of human and alien voices raised in anger and fear. Adam, having dispatched the last of the extremists at the entrance, found himself face-to-face with Dr. Marcus Lee, Dr. Kennedy's young assistant. The scientist's lab coat was torn and smeared with soot, his eyes wide with panic. "Adam, thank God I found you," Lee gasped, catching his breath. "Queen Gaia is in critical condition. Dr. Kennedy needs you for an emergency blood transfusion. It might be the only thing that can save her." Adam felt a surge of grit course through him. "Lead the way," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. As they navigated the locked-down sections of the facility, Adam's enhanced strength proved invaluable. He forced open sealed doors, his muscles straining against the reinforced metal. The pair moved swiftly, bypassing security measures and avoiding pockets of conflict. High above the earth, aboard the Sakari mothership, Commander Zarel paced impatiently. The extraction team's lack of progress grated on his nerves. With a decisive gesture, he activated the ship's advanced weapons system. "Deploy the combat drones," he ordered, his voice cold and authoritative. "Retrieve the Queen at all costs." A swarm of sleek, metallic objects detached from the mothership, their advanced cloaking technology rendering them invisible to Earth's defense systems. The drones descended rapidly, cutting through the atmosphere with deadly precision. Back in the medical bay, Queen Gaia's condition reached a critical point. Her body began to violently reject its own Sakari biology, causing severe organ failure. Dr. Kennedy, her options dwindling, prepared for the transfusion procedure without Adam present. Zara, witnessing the Queen's agony, made a split-second decision. "Use my blood," she offered, her voice thick with emotion. "My pure Sakari biology might stabilize her." Dr. Kennedy hesitated only for a moment before nodding. Time was running out, and they had to try something. As she began the transfusion between Zara and Queen Gaia, an unexpected reaction occurred. The Queen's bioluminescent patterns synchronized with Zara's, creating a mesmerizing light display that bathed the room in an otherworldly glow. However, instead of stabilizing Queen Gaia, the transfusion seemed to accelerate her transformation. The Queen's body began to rapidly shift between Sakari and human forms, each transition causing her immense pain and physiological stress. It was at this critical moment that Adam and Dr. Lee burst into the medical bay, having fought their way through a group of confused Sakari warriors. Adam's eyes locked onto Queen Gaia's writhing form, and he rushed to her side without hesitation. As his hand made contact with her arm, an immediate reaction occurred. Queen Gaia's bioluminescence pulsed in perfect sync with Adam's heartbeat, a visual representation of their unique bond. Dr. Kennedy, recognizing the potential of their connection, quickly prepared for a direct transfusion between Adam and Queen Gaia. As the procedure began, both Adam and the Queen experienced intense physical sensations. Their mental link strengthened to an unprecedented degree, allowing them to share consciousness momentarily. In this shared mental space, Adam and Queen Gaia gained profound insights into each other's species, cultures, and personal experiences. It was a moment of perfect understanding, transcending the boundaries of their two worlds. As the transfusion continued, Queen Gaia's body began to stabilize, finding a delicate balance between her Sakari and human physiologies. The process created a unique hybrid biology, potentially opening the door for true human-Sakari compatibility. However, the strain of the transformation left both Adam and Queen Gaia weakened and vulnerable. As they lay there, connected by 4 tubes in their mental link, the world around them continued to spiral into chaos. The distant sound of shattering glass and inhuman screeching signaled the arrival of Commander Zarel's combat drones. The medical bay, once a place of healing, was about to become a battleground. Zara and the remaining Sakari warriors took up defensive positions, preparing to protect their queen from both the approaching drones and General Blackwood's forces. Adam, still physically connected to Queen Gaia, found himself torn between the instinct to defend her and the need to help the human scientists escape the escalating conflict. As the first drone breached the medical bay's defenses, its metallic form gleaming menacingly in the glow of Queen Gaia's bioluminescence, Adam knew that the next few moments would shape the future of human-Sakari relations forever. The fate of 2 worlds now rested on the shoulders of a human and an alien, bound together by science and circumstance, their shared biology representing a bridge between species. As the battle raged around them, Adam and Queen Gaia faced the daunting task of surviving the immediate threat and somehow convincing both humans and Sakari of the value of their newfound connection. As the battle raged around them, Adam and Queen Gaia lay side by side, their bodies weakened from the transfusion procedure. Dr. Kennedy's eyes darted between her patients and the chaos unfolding in the medical bay. She knew they were running out of time. "We need to stabilize them, now," she shouted to her team over the din of combat. With practiced precision, Dr. Kennedy prepared a syringe filled with a specially formulated stabilizing agent. She injected Adam first, then quickly moved to Queen Gaia. The effect was almost immediate. Adam's eyes fluttered open, his vision clearing as the agent coursed through his veins. Queen Gaia's bioluminescent patterns, which had been flickering erratically, began to pulse with a steady rhythm. Suddenly, the lights in the medical bay flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. Emergency backup power kicked in, casting an eerie red glow over the scene. The compound's environmental controls went haywire, sending the temperature plummeting. Adam gasped as his breath misted in the rapidly cooling air. He felt a strange tingling sensation across his skin, and to his amazement, a faint blue glow began to emanate from his body. Beside him, Queen Gaia's form shifted and changed, her alien physiology adapting to the harsh Earth environment. As they both sat up, Adam locked eyes with Queen Gaia. In that moment, their mental link exploded with new depth and clarity. He could see through her eyes, feel the texture of the medical bay floor through her touch. Queen Gaia, in turn, experienced the world through human senses for the first time. Their shared awareness expanded outward, encompassing the entire room. Her bioluminescent patterns flared brightly, dispersing and neutralizing the energy attack. The effort left Queen Gaia weakened but alive. She slumped to the floor, her breathing labored but steady. Lee stared in disbelief, his weapon now discharged and useless. "Impossible," he whispered. Adam seized the moment. He lunged forward, tackling the stunned Zorax agent. They grappled on the floor, rolling dangerously close to exposed wires and sparking equipment. With a surge of strength, Adam pinned Lee to the ground. He grabbed a length of severed cable and used it to bind the Zorax agent's hands behind his back. Just then, the wall of the communications center burst inward. UN soldiers poured into the room, their weapons trained on the scene before them. Colonel Steele stepped through the breach, his eyes widening as he took in the sight of Adam and Queen Gaia's transformed appearances, and the alien form of the bound Dr. Lee. "Secure the prisoner," Steele ordered his men. "We need to get you all out of here before this place comes down around our ears." As the soldiers moved to comply, a new commotion erupted from the corridor outside. A group of Sakari warriors pushed their way into the room, led by a tall, imposing figure with intricate bioluminescent patterns marking his alien skin. "I am Krell, High Counselor of the Sakari," the newcomer announced, his voice filled with scarcely controlled fury. "And I demand to know what abomination has been wrought here." Adam helped Queen Gaia to her feet, both of them acutely aware of the mounting tension in the room. They stood together, their hybrid forms a stark contrast to the humans and pure Sakari surrounding them. Colonel Steele stepped forward, his hand resting cautiously on his sidearm. "I suggest we all remain calm and discuss the situation like rational beings," he said, his voice steady despite the palpable tension. Krell's eyes narrowed as he glared at Queen Gaia. "You have betrayed our people," he hissed, "corrupted our biology with human filth." Adam felt Queen Gaia's anger and hurt through their mental link. He squeezed her hand reassuringly, their fingers intertwining as they faced this new challenge together. The communications center had become a powder keg of conflicting interests and ideologies. Human soldiers, Sakari warriors, and a captured Zorax agent all stood on the brink of conflict. In the center of it all, Adam and Queen Gaia represented a bridge between worlds, a possibility for peace that neither side seemed ready to accept. As the compound continued to crumble around them, Adam knew they had precious little time to defuse the situation and find a way forward. The fate of two species now rested on their ability to navigate this volatile confrontation and show both humans and Sakari the value of their newfound connection. Adam and Queen Gaia stood united, their hybrid forms a living testament to the potential for human-Sakari cooperation. The tension in the room was palpable as Krell's accusatory words hung in the air. Before anyone could react further, Queen Gaia's bioluminescent patterns began to pulse with a soft, rhythmic glow. The light spread throughout the room, its wavelengths penetrating the minds of both humans and Sakari alike. To everyone's surprise, the aggressive postures of both factions began to relax, their expressions softening as an inexplicable sense of calm washed over them. Adam, sensing the shift in mood through his mental link with Queen Gaia, seized the opportunity. He stepped forward, his voice steady and clear. "We don't have time for this conflict. There's a greater threat we all need to face." All eyes turned to him as he gestured towards the bound form of Dr. Lee. "This man is not who he appears to be. He's a Zorax agent, part of an alien species that has been manipulating both humans and Sakari, pushing us towards war." Colonel Steele's eyes widened at the revelation. He turned to his men, issuing a quick order. "Secure the prisoner. We need to question him thoroughly." As UN soldiers moved to take custody of Lee, Krell's face contorted with a mix of confusion and lingering anger. "What proof do you have of these claims?" he demanded. Adam met the Sakari leader's gaze. "The proof is right here," he said, pointing to his and Queen Gaia's hybrid forms. "Our combined biology has given us insights into both species. We've uncovered the Zorax plot through our shared consciousness." Queen Gaia stepped forward, her voice carrying the authority of her royal lineage. "Krell, I understand your concerns, but we must look beyond our differences. The Zorax threat is real, and it endangers both our peoples." A loud crack echoed through the room as another section of ceiling gave way. Dust and debris rained down, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. "We need to evacuate immediately," Colonel Steele shouted over the noise of crumbling infrastructure. "This entire compound is about to collapse." Krell hesitated for a moment, then nodded grudgingly. "Very well. We will postpone this discussion until we are safe." As if on cue, Adam and Queen Gaia sprang into action. Their enhanced strength and agility allowed them to clear fallen debris, creating a path for the others to follow. UN soldiers and Sakari warriors worked side by side, helping the injured and ensuring no one was left behind. As they made their way through the deteriorating corridors, Adam noticed a small device protruding from Lee's pocket. He grabbed it, realizing it was of Zorax origin. "Colonel," he called out, "I think I found something important." Steele took the device, examining it closely. "Good find. This could be the key to unraveling their entire operation." The group finally emerged from the compound, blinking in the bright sunlight. As Adam and Queen Gaia stepped into the open air, they felt a strange tingling sensation across their skin. To everyone's amazement, their hybrid bodies began to shift and change color, blending seamlessly with their surroundings. "Fascinating," Queen Gaia murmured, examining her camouflaged arm. "Our biology continues to evolve." Colonel Steele wasted no time establishing a secure perimeter around the area. UN forces formed a protective ring, while Krell Sakari maintained a watchful distance. Steele approached Adam and Queen Gaia, his expression serious. "In light of this Zorax threat, I propose we form a joint human Sakari task force to investigate further. We can't afford to fight amongst ourselves with this looming over us." Krell, overhearing the suggestion, stepped forward. His posture was less aggressive now, but wariness still lined his features. "And why should we trust you humans? How do we know this isn't some elaborate deception?" Queen Gaia turned to face her fellow Sakari, her hybrid form a stark contrast to Krell's pure alien appearance. "Because we have no choice, Krell. Look at what Adam and I have become. We are living proof that our species can not only coexist, but thrive together." She paused, her gaze sweeping over the assembled humans and Sakari. "I propose we take this further. We should establish a permanent hybrid enclave, a place where humans and Sakari can live and work together. Only by combining our knowledge and abilities can we hope to counter the Zorax threat." The proposal sent a ripple of murmurs through both groups. Some faces lit up with excitement, while others darkened with apprehension. As discussions broke out among the gathered forces, Adam noticed subtle changes in Queen Gaia's behavior. Her gestures became more human-like, her expressions more nuanced. She placed a hand on his arm, a very human gesture of comfort. "Are you all right?" he asked quietly. She nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "I feel different, more complete somehow, as if I'm seeing the world through new eyes." Their moment of connection was interrupted by the arrival of medical teams from both species. Doctors approached cautiously, their curiosity evident. "We'd like to run some tests if you're willing," a human doctor said. "Non-invasive, of course. Your hybrid physiology could provide invaluable insights." Adam and Queen Gaia exchanged a glance, then nodded in agreement. As they were led to a makeshift medical station, the hum of activity around them intensified. News helicopters circled overhead, their cameras capturing images of the unprecedented cooperation between humans and Sakari. The examination proceeded quickly, with both human and Sakari medical professionals working in tandem. As data began to pour in, expressions of amazement spread across the doctors' faces. "This is extraordinary," one Sakari physician exclaimed. "Their cellular structure shows signs of enhanced regeneration and, is this correct? Their projected lifespan has been significantly extended." The implications of these findings hung in the air, adding another layer of complexity to an already unprecedented situation. As the day's events began to wind down, Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves being escorted to a secure facility for their protection, as Colonel Steele put it. As they walked side by side, their hands brushed against each other. Without hesitation, their fingers intertwined. They shared a look of understanding, recognizing that their bond had grown into something deeper, something that transcended their individual species. The future stretched out before them, filled with unknowns. But as they entered the facility together, Adam and Queen Gaia knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them united, a bridge between two worlds, and perhaps the key to humanity's survival among the stars. Stars beyond Earth's atmosphere. The following days passed in a whirlwind of activity. Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves whisked away from the rubble of the compound to a new destination, a remote island facility christened Harmony Base. The journey was long and secretive, involving multiple modes of transportation to throw off any potential pursuers. As their transport helicopter touched down on the island's landing pad, Adam's eyes widened at the sight before him. Harmony Base was a marvel of architecture, its sleek structures seamlessly blending with the lush tropical landscape. Solar panels glinted in the sunlight, while state-of-the-art security measures were discreetly integrated into the design. "Welcome to your new home," Colonel Steele announced as they disembarked. "This facility has been specially designed to accommodate your unique needs and to further our research into human Sakari hybridization." Queen Gaia stepped onto the tarmac, her bioluminescent patterns shimmering with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "It's impressive," she admitted, her gaze sweeping over the complex. As they were led inside, Adam couldn't help but notice the diverse staff bustling about. Human and Sakari scientists worked side by side, their differences seemingly forgotten in the pursuit of knowledge. The air hummed with energy and purpose. Dr. Evelyn Kennedy, the lead human geneticist, greeted them at the entrance to the medical wing. "We're eager to begin our examinations," she said, her eyes alight with scientific curiosity. "Your hybrid physiology is unlike anything we've ever encountered." The next few weeks were a flurry of tests, scans, and examinations. Adam and Queen Gaia submitted to the battery of procedures, their bodies revealing new surprises with each passing day. Their enhanced strength and agility were thoroughly documented, along with their remarkable healing abilities and extended lifespans. During one particularly intensive session, Dr. Kennedy made a startling discovery. As she reviewed Queen Gaia's latest scans, her brow furrowed in concentration. "This is extraordinary," she muttered, calling over her Sakari colleague. Adam, sensing Queen Gaia's sudden spike of anxiety through their mental link, sat up on his examination table. "What is it? Is something wrong?" Dr. Kennedy turned to them, her expression a mix of excitement and caution. "Not wrong exactly, but certainly unexpected. Queen Gaia, your reproductive system has undergone significant changes. It appears that you may now be compatible with human biology." The revelation sent shockwaves through Harmony Base. Heated debates erupted among the scientific staff about the ethical implications of human Sakari reproduction. Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves at the center of a storm of speculation and intense scrutiny. As the days wore on, Adam noticed subtle changes in Queen Gaia's behavior. She became more tactile, often reaching out to touch his arm or hand during conversations. Their mental link deepened, allowing them to share not just thoughts but emotions and sensations. One evening, as they stood on the balcony of their shared living quarters, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Queen Gaia turned to Adam. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed with a soft, inviting glow. "Adam," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, I think I'm ready to explore this new aspect of our relationship." Adam's heart raced as he took her hand in his. The contact sent a surge of electricity through them both, their hybrid physiologies resonating in perfect harmony. As they leaned in towards each other, the air around them seemed to crackle with energy. Unbeknownst to the couple, their intimate moment was being closely monitored by the base's scientific team. In the control room, Dr. Kennedy watched in fascination as readings from Adam and Queen Gaia's biometric sensors spiked dramatically. "Look at this," she called to her colleagues, pointing to a rapidly changing display. "Their bioluminescent patterns are synchronizing at a level we've never seen before." As Adam and Queen Gaia's lips met in a tender kiss, their bodies began to glow with an intensity that rivaled the setting sun. The energy buildup reached a crescendo, and suddenly, every light in Harmony Base flickered and died. In the darkness, Adam and Queen Gaia broke apart, their glowing forms the only source of illumination. "What just happened?" Adam asked, his voice filled with awe and confusion. Before Queen Gaia could respond, the emergency generators kicked in, bathing the facility in a soft, amber light. Alarms blared as scientists and security personnel rushed to assess the situation. In the control room, Dr. Kennedy stared at the readouts in disbelief. "That energy surge. It overloaded our entire power grid," she murmured. "The implications of this are staggering." As the base slowly returned to normal operations, Adam and Queen Gaia were ushered back inside for a debriefing. The incident had raised new questions about the true extent of their hybrid abilities and the potential applications or dangers they might pose. Little did they know that their display of power had not gone unnoticed. On a nearby island, hidden from the most sophisticated detection systems, a Zorax observation post hummed with activity. Alien eyes had watched the energy surge with growing alarm. "This changes everything," the Zorax commander hissed to his subordinates. "If the humans and Sakari succeed in this hybridization experiment, our entire operation could be at risk. We must act now, before it's too late." As the Zorax began formulating their plans to infiltrate and sabotage Harmony Base, Adam and Queen Gaia retired to their quarters, exhausted but exhilarated by the day's events. They lay together in the darkness, their bodies still faintly glowing, unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. Their fingers intertwined, a physical manifestation of the bond that now linked them in ways neither species had ever imagined possible. As they drifted off to sleep, their minds melded in shared dreams of a future where humans and Sakari lived in harmony, a future they were determined to make a reality, no matter the challenges that lay ahead. As dawn broke over Harmony Base, Adam and Queen Gaia stirred from their shared dreams. The faint glow of their bioluminescent patterns cast a soft light across their room, a constant reminder of their unique hybrid status. They rose and prepared for another day of tests and examinations, their movements synchronized in a dance of unspoken communication. Dr. Kennedy greeted them at the medical wing, her eyes bright with excitement. "Good morning," she said, ushering them inside. "We have some interesting results from yesterday's scans that I'd like to discuss with you." As they settled into the examination room, Dr. Kennedy pulled up a series of complex holographic images. "Queen Gaia, your reproductive system has undergone further changes," she explained, pointing to a detailed cross-section. It appears that you may now be fully compatible with human biology. Adam and Queen Gaia exchanged a look, their mental link buzzing with a mix of surprise and curiosity. What does this mean for us? Adam asked, his voice steady despite the implications. Dr. Kennedy's expression turned serious. It means that, theoretically, you too could produce offspring, a true human Sakari hybrid child. The room fell silent as the weight of this revelation settled over them. Queen Gaia's bioluminescent patterns flickered rapidly, reflecting her inner turmoil. "This is unexpected," she said softly. As the day progressed, Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves lost in thought, processing the implications of Dr. Kennedy's discovery. During a break between tests, they retreated to a quiet corner of the facility's gardens. "Adam," Queen Gaia began, her voice barely above a whisper, "I think we need to explore this further. Not just for science, but for us." Adam nodded, understanding her meaning. He took her hand, feeling the familiar surge of energy at their touch. "I agree, but we need privacy for this. No more constant monitoring." They approached Dr. Kennedy with their request, who reluctantly agreed after a lengthy discussion. "We'll monitor your vital signs remotely," she conceded. "But please be careful. We don't know the full extent of your combined abilities." That evening, Adam and Queen Gaia retired to their quarters earlier than usual. As the door closed behind them, they stood facing each other, the air thick with anticipation. Slowly, they moved closer, their bioluminescent patterns beginning to pulse in sync. As their lips met, a surge of energy coursed through them. Their mental link deepened, allowing them to share not just thoughts but sensations. Every touch, every breath was magnified, creating a feedback loop of pleasure and connection. Unbeknownst to the couple, their intimate act was having a dramatic effect on the base's power systems. In the control room, alarms began to blare as energy readings spiked to unprecedented levels. "What's happening?" Dr. Kennedy demanded, rushing to a console. A technician's fingers flew across the keyboard. "It's Adam and Queen Gaia," he reported. "The energy output from their quarters is off the charts. It's overloading our systems." Just as the words left his mouth, the lights flickered and died. Emergency generators kicked in, bathing the facility in a dim red glow. In their quarters, Adam and Queen Gaia broke apart, startled by the sudden darkness. "Did we do that?" Adam asked, his body still tingling from their encounter. Before Queen Gaia could respond, a new sensation washed over them, a feeling of impending danger, sharp and urgent. They shared a look of alarm, their hybrid intuition screaming a silent warning. Outside, hidden beneath the waves, Zorax underwater drones silently released their biological payload into the surrounding waters. The contaminated marine life began to exhibit strange bioluminescent patterns, mirroring those of Adam and Queen Gaia. As the base's systems slowly came back online, Dr. Kennedy and her team scrambled to analyze the data from Adam and Queen Gaia's intimate moment. The readings revealed a further merging of their genetic material, creating a unique DNA structure that combined the best traits of both species. "This is groundbreaking," Dr. Kennedy muttered, her eyes wide as she studied the results. "The potential applications are endless." Meanwhile, on the nearby island, the Zorax infiltrators received confirmation that their beacon had been activated. They began preparations for their assault on Harmony Base, their movements swift and purposeful. Back at the facility, Adam and Queen Gaia emerged from their quarters, feeling disoriented and slightly uncomfortable. They made their way to the beach, drawn by an inexplicable urge to be near the water. As they walked along the shore, they noticed a strange bioluminescence in the waves. "Beautiful," Queen Gaia murmured, reaching out to touch the glowing water. Adam nodded in agreement, but couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He suggested a swim, hoping the cool water would clear their heads. As they dove into the bioluminescent waves, neither realized they were exposing themselves to the Zorak's biological agent. Emerging from the water, they felt a mild discomfort and increased disorientation. Their own bioluminescent patterns began to flicker erratically, and they experienced brief lapses in their telepathic connection. "Something's wrong," Adam said, his voice tight with concern. "We should head back to the base." As they made their way back to the facility, the Zorak's infiltrators activated their electromagnetic pulse devices. The base's security systems and communication equipment went dark, leaving Harmony Base vulnerable to attack. Adam and Queen Gaia stumbled into the main complex, their hybrid senses on high alert. They found Dr. Kennedy and the others in a state of panic, trying to restore power and communications. "We're under attack," Adam announced, his voice carrying over the chaos. "The Zoraks are coming." As if on cue, alarms began to blare, signaling a breach in the base's perimeter. Adam and Queen Gaia shared a determined look, their bond strengthening in the face of danger. Despite the effects of the biological agent, they knew they were Harmony Base's best hope for survival. They moved towards the source of the alarm, their bodies glowing with an intense light that cut through the darkness. The Zorak's infiltrators were about to face the full power of human-Sakari hybridization, and the fate of both species hung in the balance. The Zorak's infiltrators were about to face the full power of human-Sakari hybridization, and the fate of both species hung in the balance. As Adam and Queen Gaia rushed towards the source of the alarm, their minds were suddenly flooded with a shared vision of impending danger. They stumbled, momentarily disoriented by the intensity of the premonition. When their senses cleared, they found themselves in an unsettling silence. The familiar hum of Harmony Base's systems had vanished, replaced by an eerie quiet that set their nerves on edge. Their recent intimate encounters seemed to have amplified their hybrid intuition, and every fiber of their being screamed danger. Exchanging a wordless glance, they quickly dressed and exited their quarters. The corridor outside was bathed in the weak glow of emergency backup lights, which flickered ominously. Adam reached for the intercom panel, attempting to contact Dr. Kennedy, but was met with only static. "Communications are down," he said, his voice tight with concern. Queen Gaia nodded, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing erratically. "We need to find the others." They moved swiftly through the darkened facility, their enhanced senses on high alert. As they rounded a corner, they nearly collided with Dr. Evelyn Kennedy and a group of scientists huddled near a sealed laboratory door. "Thank goodness you're here," Dr. Kennedy exclaimed, relief evident in her voice. She quickly briefed them on the situation. Multiple perimeter breaches detected before all communication was lost. Adam stepped forward, assessing the sealed door. "Stand back," he instructed, before gripping the edge of the door with both hands. His muscles strained as he slowly pried it open, the metal groaning in protest. As the scientists hurried inside to retrieve crucial data drives and biological samples, Queen Gaia's nostrils flared. A faint, unfamiliar odor tickled her senses, a chemical agent unlike anything in the Sakari or human arsenal. Before she could voice her concern, alarms blared throughout the facility, signaling a complete breach of the base's defenses. Through the nearest window, they spotted sleek, alien figures moving with unnatural speed and precision across the compound. "Zoraks," Adam growled, his fists clenching. In that moment, Adam and Queen Gaia's hybrid instincts took over. They quickly formulated a plan. Adam would lead the evacuation, while Queen Gaia set up defenses to slow the Zorak's advance. As they prepared to separate, a sharp pain lanced through their heads, causing them both to wince. Their telepathic link flickered, like a faulty electrical connection. The biological agent, Queen Gaia realized aloud. "It's affecting us more severely now." Adam nodded grimly. "We need to move fast." He gathered the scientists, including Dr. Kennedy, and began leading them towards the emergency evacuation point near the island's hidden docks. Meanwhile, Queen Gaia started setting up makeshift barriers and traps along the Zorax's likely approach routes. As Adam's group neared the main laboratory complex, they encountered the first wave of Zorax infiltrators. Without hesitation, Adam engaged them in hand-to-hand combat. His hybrid strength and agility caught the aliens off guard, allowing the scientists to slip past and continue towards safety. Queen Gaia, utilizing her knowledge of the base's layout, led another group of Zorax into a prepared choke point. She used her bioluminescent abilities to create disorienting light patterns, confusing the alien assault team. In the ensuing chaos, she neutralized several Zorax using a combination of Sakari martial arts and her enhanced strength. As the evacuation progressed, Dr. Kennedy made a startling discovery while securing the last of the research data. She uncovered evidence that the Zorax biological agent was specifically designed to target the unique genetic structure of human Sakari hybrids. "They've been watching us much more closely than we thought," she informed Adam and Queen Gaia via a hastily rigged communication device. "They're determined to prevent our hybridization experiments from succeeding." This revelation added urgency to their mission. Adam and Queen Gaia fought with renewed vigor, knowing they were defending not just the base and its personnel, but the future of human-Sakari relations. As the last evacuation vessel prepared to depart, Adam and Queen Gaia regrouped at the emergency docks. Their bodies showed increasing signs of strain, their bioluminescent patterns chaotic, their telepathic link weakening. In a final, desperate move, they combined their failing bioluminescence to activate the base's dormant defense systems. Their light patterns interacted with hidden Sakari biosensors, triggering energy barriers that temporarily halted the Zorax advance. With the last of the personnel safely aboard, Adam and Queen Gaia faced a heart-wrenching decision. Their deteriorating condition made it clear they couldn't risk contaminating the others. "We have to stay," Queen Gaia said, her voice steady despite the gravity of their situation. Adam nodded, taking her hand. "We'll find a way to neutralize the threat." As the evacuation ships disappeared over the horizon, Adam and Queen Gaia stood side by side on the dock. Their bodies were weakened, but their tenacity remained unshaken. The Zorax were closing in, their hybrid abilities were failing, and the fate of two species rested on their shoulders. They turned to face the advancing alien force, ready to rely on their combined knowledge, skills, and the strength of their bond. The real test of their hybrid capabilities was about to begin. The odds were stacked against them, but their tenacity remained unshaken. As the first rays of sunlight pierced the horizon, Adam and Queen Gaia stood side by side, their bodies weakened but their spirits unbroken. The Zorax forces advanced relentlessly, their alien forms casting long shadows across the devastated landscape of Harmony Base. Adam and Queen Gaia exchanged a glance, their once vibrant bioluminescent patterns now flickering erratically like dying fireflies. Their telepathic link, once a constant comfort, had degraded to little more than sporadic whispers in their minds. "The lab," Queen Gaia said, her voice hoarse. "It's our only chance." Adam nodded, his eyes scanning the path ahead. "Let's move." They sprinted across the compound, their movements less fluid than before, but still faster than an ordinary human. As they ran, small groups of Zorax infiltrators emerged from the shadows, their weapons humming with alien energy. Adam reacted instinctively, grabbing a piece of twisted metal from the debris-strewn ground. He swung it in a wide arc, catching the first Zorax across its midsection. The alien crumpled, its exoskeleton cracking under the force of the blow. Queen Gaia ducked under a swipe from another infiltrator, her Sakari martial arts training kicking in. She swept its legs out from under it, following up with a precise strike to a vulnerable joint in its neck. The Zorax went down twitching. They pressed on, each encounter leaving them more drained than the last. By the time they reached the main research laboratory, both were panting heavily, their skin slick with sweat. Adam immediately set to work barricading the entrance, pushing heavy equipment against the door. "This won't hold them for long," he grunted, his muscles straining with effort. Queen Gaia wasted no time, moving swiftly to the lab's central console. Her fingers flew across the controls, activating the advanced biotechnology equipment. "I need a sample of the agent," she said, her eyes fixed on the readouts. Adam nodded, extending his arm. A thin trickle of luminescent blood oozed from a cut he'd sustained during their flight to the lab. Queen Gaia collected it, her touch gentle despite the urgency of their situation. As she began her analysis, Adam took up a defensive position near the door. The sounds of the Zorak's assault grew louder, punctuated by the screech of metal as they attempted to breach the barricade. Minutes ticked by, each one feeling like an eternity. Queen Gaia worked feverishly, her brow furrowed in concentration. Suddenly, she gasped, "Adam, I found it. The agent targets are unique gene sequences. If I can synthesize a counteragent..." Her words were cut short as a violent tremor shook the lab. The power flickered ominously, threatening to disrupt the delicate equipment. Adam's eyes widened in realization. The power grid is failing. I need to reroute the energy manually. Queen Gaia looked up, alarm evident in her eyes. But the Zorak's dash. "Keep working," Adam interrupted, his heart made. "I'll handle them." Without waiting for a response, he pushed aside the barricade and slipped out into the corridor. The sounds of combat echoed through the facility as Adam fought his way to the power distribution center. Inside the lab, Queen Gaia redoubled her efforts. Her hands moved with practiced precision, mixing compounds and adjusting parameters. Each passing second brought with it waves of dizziness and weakness, the biological agent taking an ever greater toll on her hybrid physiology. Just as the synthesizer began its final sequence, the lab plunged into darkness. Queen Gaia's heart sank, but a moment later, the emergency lights flickered to life. The equipment hummed as it reactivated, power flowing once more. The door burst open and Adam stumbled in, his body battered and bleeding. "It's done," he gasped, collapsing against a nearby workstation. Queen Gaia rushed to his side, the newly synthesized counteragent clutched in her hand. "Adam, I've got it, but there's a complication. For it to work, we need to reach a specific state of physiological instability. We need intense stimulation, physical or emotional." Their eyes met, understanding passing between them without words. As the sounds of the Zorak's breach grew louder, Adam pulled Queen Gaia close. Their lips met in a desperate, passionate kiss, their bodies intertwining as Queen Gaia administered the counteragent. A surge of energy unlike anything they'd ever experienced coursed through them. Their bioluminescence flared with blinding intensity, bathing the lab in ethereal light. The Zorak's infiltrators, having finally broken through, reeled back, their sensory systems overloaded by the unexpected radiance. As the light faded, Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves standing amidst the chaos, their strength returning, hybrid abilities slowly resurging. The immediate threat neutralized, they became aware of a new sound cutting through the silence, the unmistakable roar of approaching aircraft. "Reinforcements," Adam breathed, a smile tugging at his lips. Queen Gaia nodded, her own expression one of renewed hope. "Human and Sakari, they've both come." As the first ships touched down outside the facility, Adam and Queen Gaia emerged from the lab, their bodies glowing with restored vigor. The battle for Harmony Base was just getting started, but with their abilities returned and allies at hand, the tide was about to turn. The Zorak's, regrouping after their momentary setback, found themselves facing not just two hybrid defenders, but a united front of humans and Sakari. As the new arrivals fanned out across the base, Adam and Queen Gaia stood at the forefront, ready to lead the charge against their alien adversaries. The next phase of the battle was about to begin, with the fate of two species and the future of human-Sakari relations hanging in the balance. Adam and Queen Gaia exchanged a determined look, their bond stronger than ever. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as living proof of what their two races could accomplish when united. United when they worked together, their newfound strength and commitment would be put to the test immediately. As the human and Sakari reinforcements spread across Harmony Base, Adam and Queen Gaia took charge of coordinating the counteroffensive. Their hybrid abilities, now fully restored and even enhanced by their recent ordeal, proved invaluable in organizing the joint operation. Adam's augmented strength and tactical acumen allowed him to direct ground troops with precision. He moved swiftly through the chaos, shouting orders and positioning squads to maximum effect. His hybrid physiology gave him an edge in combat, allowing him to engage Zorak's infiltrators directly when necessary. Alpha Team, secure the western perimeter, Adam called out, his voice carrying over the din of battle. Bravo, I need suppressing fire on that ridge. Meanwhile, Queen Gaia utilized her bioluminescent abilities to facilitate communication between air and ground forces. Her body pulsed with intricate patterns of light, relaying complex strategies and real-time battlefield updates to Sakari pilots circling overhead. As a squadron of Sakari fighters strafed a group of Zorak's heavy weapons, Queen Gaia's skin flashed in a rapid sequence. The pilots adjusted their formation instantly, narrowly avoiding a volley of return fire. The tide of battle began to turn as the human-Sakari alliance pushed back against the alien invaders. Adam and Queen Gaia fought side by side, their movements in perfect sync. Their enhanced abilities allowed them to anticipate each other's actions, creating a formidable fighting duo that the Zoraks struggled to counter. During a lull in the fighting, Adam noticed an anomaly in the base's structural layout. Gaia, he called, gesturing to a holographic map. There's an inconsistency here. These power readings suggest a hidden level beneath the main complex. Queen Gaia's eyes widened in realization. A Zorak's command center. It must be the source of their coordination. Without hesitation, they assembled a small, elite team of human and Sakari special forces. Adam led the way, using his enhanced strength to force open a concealed entrance. As they descended into the bowels of the facility, the team encountered increasingly fierce resistance. Zorak's defenders swarmed the narrow corridors, their alien weaponry filling the air with deadly energy bolts. Adam and Queen Gaia moved as one, their hybrid reflexes allowing them to dodge and weave through the onslaught. The Special Forces team followed in their wake, picking off stragglers and securing their advance. Finally, they breached the command center itself. The room was a marvel of alien technology, with holographic displays showing battle plans and star charts. As Adam and Queen Gaia began to access the Zorak systems, they uncovered shocking information. This data, Queen Gaia gasped, her fingers flying over the alien interface. It shows centuries of Zorak's manipulation. They've been influencing both our species, keeping us apart. Adam's eyes sharp as he absorbed the implications. They feared what we could become if we worked together. This alliance is their worst nightmare. As they transmitted the vital intelligence to their allies, a deep, resonant voice filled the chamber. Humans and Sakari, united at last. How disappointing! A massive Zorak's warrior emerged from the shadows, its exoskeleton gleaming with an iridescent sheen. Adam and Queen Gaia instinctively moved into defensive stances. I am Zelvax, commander of this operation, the alien announced, its multifaceted eyes narrowing. Your interference ends here. Without warning, Zelvax launched into a furious assault. Its strength and speed were unlike anything Adam and Queen Gaia had encountered before. The Zorax commander was a blur of motion, striking with precision and power that forced the hybrid pair onto the defensive. As they fought, Zelvax taunted them with revelations about the true extent of Zorax's influence. "Your pitiful alliance is nothing," it hissed, landing a glancing blow on Adam's shoulder. "We have seeded discord on countless worlds, keeping the galaxy divided and weak." Queen Gaia ducked under a vicious swipe, retaliating with a quick jab to Zelvax's midsection. "Then we'll be the first to break your hold," she shot back, her skin pulsing with patterns of defiance. The battle raged on, with Adam and Queen Gaia slowly finding their rhythm. Their intimate bond became their greatest weapon, allowing them to anticipate and complement each other's moves. Where Adam's strength faltered, Queen Gaia's agility filled the gap. When her energy flagged, his endurance pushed them forward. In a pivotal moment, Adam grappled with Zelvax, pinning its arms. "Now, Gaia!" he shouted. Queen Gaia's body erupted in a blinding flash of bioluminescence, overloading the Zorax commander's sensory systems. Zelvax reeled back, momentarily stunned. Adam seized the opportunity, delivering a powerful blow that sent the alien crashing into a bank of computers. With Zelvax subdued, Adam and Queen Gaia wasted no time. They accessed the Zorax communication systems, broadcasting a message to all human and Sakari forces. The truth of the Zorax manipulation spread like wildfire, galvanizing their allies and sowing confusion among the remaining invaders. As the last pockets of Zorax resistance crumbled, Adam and Queen Gaia emerged from the command center victorious. The human and Sakari forces cheered their hybrid heroes, the success at Harmony Base marking a turning point in the conflict. In the aftermath of the battle, the base buzzed with activity. Scientists from both species, led by Dr. Kennedy, began poring over the captured Zorax technology. The potential for new defensive measures and scientific breakthroughs was enormous. Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves at the center of attention, their hybrid nature now a source of fascination and hope. As they walked through the base, human and Sakari alike regarded them with a mixture of awe and admiration. Exhausted but triumphant, the pair sought a moment of privacy amidst the chaos. They found a quiet corner of the base, overlooking the now peaceful island landscape. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the full weight of their experiences washed over them. The weight of her words hung heavy in the air. Before either Adam or Queen Gaia could respond, the door to the medical bay slid open with a hiss. A group of high-ranking human and Sakari officials strode in, their faces a mix of concern and barely concealed interest. Commander Adam, Queen Gaia, the lead human official, addressed them. "We need to discuss the implications of your condition." Over the next few hours, Adam and Queen Gaia were subjected to a barrage of tests and questions. Blood samples were taken, scans were performed, and every aspect of their new physiology was documented in excruciating detail. As the day wore on, snippets of conversation from the officials reached their ears. The potential for enhanced soldiers is enormous. We must consider the ethical implications. If we can replicate this process. Adam and Queen Gaia exchanged worried glances. The ramifications of their transformation were rapidly spiraling beyond their control. As night fell over Harmony Base, an uneasy quiet settled over the medical bay. Adam and Queen Gaia were finally left alone, their beds pushed close together at their insistence. "What do we do now?" Queen Gaia asked, her skin pulsing with patterns of uncertainty and fear. Adam squeezed her hand. "We face it together, whatever comes." Their moment of intimacy was interrupted by a sudden flickering of the lights. The medical equipment around them emitted a series of erratic beeps and whirs. "That's odd," Adam muttered, his enhanced senses on high alert. Queen Gaia sat up, her bioluminescence intensifying. Something's not right. As if in response to her words, the security feeds on the nearby monitors went dark. Moments later, the base's communication system crackled to life, filling the room with static and fragmented messages. Adam swung his legs over the side of the bed, ignoring the protest of his still-healing body. "We need to investigate." Queen Gaia nodded, her own movements more fluid as her Sakari physiology adapted more quickly to the changes. Together, they made their way out of the medical bay and into the dimly lit corridors of Harmony Base. As they moved through the facility, their newly enhanced senses picked up on subtle disturbances. A faint energy signature, barely perceptible but undeniably alien, seemed to pulse from somewhere deep within the base. "Do you feel that?" Queen Gaia whispered, her skin flickering with patterns of warning. Adam nodded grimly. "It's coming from the secure storage area." They approached the storage facility cautiously, their bodies tense for action. The door was ajar, a soft blue glow emanating from within. Adam pushed it open, revealing a sight that made his blood run cold. In the center of the room stood Dr. Marcus Lee, a man they thought had been taken into custody during the Zorax attack. His hands danced over a pulsating alien device, its surface covered in intricate, shifting patterns. "Dr. Lee?" Adam called out, his voice thick with disbelief. Lee spun around, his eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and something else. "Something alien. You shouldn't be here," he snarled, his voice distorted and inhuman. "Step away from the device," Queen Gaia commanded, her body glowing with battle-ready intensity. Lee's face twisted into a grotesque smile. "You're too late," he said, pressing a final sequence on the device. "The Zorax will have everything they need to crush your pitiful alliance." Adam lunged forward, his enhanced strength propelling him across the room with incredible speed. At the same moment, Queen Gaia unleashed a blinding flash of bioluminescence, momentarily disorienting Lee. The three collided in a tangle of limbs and alien technology. The Zorax device emitted a high-pitched whine as they struggled, its surface growing hot to the touch. Adam grappled with Lee, trying to pull him away from the device, while Queen Gaia attempted to interface with it using her bioluminescent abilities. Suddenly, the device let out an ear-splitting screech. A pulse of energy erupted from its core, throwing all three combatants across the room. Adam's head slammed against the wall, his vision blurring. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was Queen Gaia's still form lying motionless on the floor, her bioluminescence fading to a dim flicker. As darkness closed in, Adam felt a strange sensation rippling through his body. It was as if every cell was being rewritten, reshaped by the alien energy that now coursed through him. His last conscious thought was of Queen Gaia, and in that moment, he could have sworn he felt her presence in his mind, their consciousness intertwining in ways he couldn't begin to comprehend. The sound of approaching footsteps echoed in the distance as Adam slipped into unconsciousness, leaving the fate of Harmony Base, and perhaps the entire human Sakari alliance, hanging in the balance. Balance. In the chaos that followed, Adam's world faded to black. When he regained consciousness, Adam found himself in a familiar setting, the medical bay of Harmony Base. The sterile white walls and soft hum of medical equipment greeted him as he blinked away the fog of unconsciousness. Beside him, Queen Gaia stirred, her skin pulsing with weak patterns of disorientation. "Welcome back," Dr. Kennedy's voice cut through the silence. She approached their beds, her face a mixture of relief and terrifying excitement. "You've been out for 3 days. How are you feeling?" Adam groaned, pushing himself up on his elbows. "Like I've gone 10 rounds with a Zorax battle mech." "What happened?" Dr. Kennedy's eyes gleamed with scientific fervor. "The energy pulse from that alien device. It's done something remarkable to your physiology. Your hybrid traits have stabilized and even enhanced. We've been monitoring you closely, and the results are astounding. Queen Gaia sat up, her bioluminescence flickering with curiosity. What kind of results? Before Dr. Kennedy could answer, a group of high-ranking officials entered the room. Among them was Admiral Zhao, his face stern as ever. "Commander Adam, Queen Gaia," he nodded curtly. "I'm glad to see you've recovered. We have much to discuss." Over the next hour, Adam and Queen Gaia were briefed on the events that had transpired during their unconsciousness. Dr. Lee had been apprehended and was undergoing intense questioning. The alien device had been secured and was being studied by a joint human-Sakari research team. But it was the next piece of news that truly caught them off guard. In light of recent developments, Admiral Zhao explained, his voice carefully neutral, the Hybrid Ethics Committee has authorized a controlled experiment to test human Sakari reproduction. Adam's heart skipped a beat. He glanced at Queen Gaia, whose skin was rippling with a complex array of emotions. Dr. Kennedy stepped forward, her enthusiasm terrifying. "We've set up a specialized laboratory for the experiment. It's equipped with advanced monitoring systems to track every aspect of your physiology during the encounter." The next few days were a whirlwind of medical preparations and briefings. Adam and Queen Gaia underwent extensive tests and examinations, their bodies scrutinized down to the cellular level. The weight of what they were about to do hung heavily in the air, a mixture of scientific curiosity and deeply personal emotion. Finally, the day of the experiment arrived. Adam and Queen Gaia were led into the specially prepared laboratory, its walls lined with state-of-the-art monitoring equipment. Dr. Kennedy and her team observed from an adjacent room, giving the hybrid pair as much privacy as possible while still maintaining scientific oversight. As Adam and Queen Gaia came together, their bioluminescence intensified, casting a soft, ethereal glow throughout the lab. Their heightened mental link, a byproduct of their recent transformation, allowed them to anticipate each other's needs and responses with uncanny precision. The intimate act was unlike anything either of them had experienced before. It was a fusion not just of bodies, but of minds and spirits. As their synchronicity peaked, a surge of energy emanated from them, temporarily disrupting the lab's electronic systems. When power was restored, alarms blared throughout the facility. Dr. Kennedy's voice came over the intercom, a mix of awe and concern. "Adam, Gaia, are you all right? We're detecting some unusual readings from the adjacent terraforming facility." Hastily donning provided garments, Adam and Queen Gaia rushed to the observation deck overlooking the experimental terraforming equipment. What they saw left them speechless. A section of the island's ecosystem was transforming before their eyes. Plants were growing at an accelerated rate, their forms a bizarre hybrid of Earth and Sakari flora. The very air seemed to shimmer with an alien energy. "Incredible," Dr. Kennedy breathed, joining them at the window. "The energy surge from your encounter somehow activated and altered the terraforming systems. We're witnessing the birth of an entirely new biosphere." As news of the successful human-Sakari intimate encounter spread, Harmony Base became a hive of activity. Scientific observers and diplomatic envoys from both Earth and the Sakari homeworld descended upon the facility, eager to witness the results firsthand. Amidst the chaos, Adam and Queen Gaia found themselves at the center of a media storm. Their every move was scrutinized, their words parsed for deeper meaning. The base's security protocols were heightened to protect them from potential threats or exploitation. Days passed, and Queen Gaia began to exhibit subtle changes. Her bioluminescence patterns shifted, taking on new, unfamiliar rhythms. Medical scans confirmed what they had hoped for. She was pregnant with a hybrid embryo, the first of its kind. The announcement of the pregnancy triggered a global media frenzy. Debates raged across both human and Sakari societies about the implications of this new life form. The Hybrid Ethics Committee, faced with this unprecedented development, expedited its hearing. "Ambassador Zara," Adam began, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "I am Adam, and this is Queen Gaia. We represent the cooperation between humans and Sakari." Zara's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer as she studied them. "Your union is the reason we're here. Our long-range sensors detected the unique energy signature created by your hybrid biology during the battle. It's unprecedented. Queen Gaia's bioluminescence pulsed with a pattern of curiosity. You say you represent a galactic confederation. What exactly is that?" Zara's companions, a being with crystalline skin and another with tentacle-like appendages, moved closer as she explained. "We are a coalition of spacefaring races dedicated to maintaining peace and balance in the galaxy. Your hybridization program, it could be the key to solving long-standing conflicts between different species." Adam felt a surge of pride at her words, but also a twinge of wariness. "And what does the Confederation want from us?" Zara's expression softened. "We offer advanced medical technology to ensure the health and safety of Queen Gaia and your unborn child. In return, we ask that you both agree to visit our homeworlds as goodwill ambassadors." The room erupted into murmurs of concern and excitement. Queen Gaia placed a protective hand over her abdomen, her skin flickering with patterns of uncertainty. Before anyone could respond, a scientist from Harmony Base appeared on a nearby screen, his face flushed with excitement. "Commander Adam, Queen Gaia, the terraformed area has expanded significantly. The hybrid ecosystem now covers most of the island and the energy-absorbing plants. They're producing a unique form of bioenergy. It could revolutionize power generation for both our civilizations." Adam's mind raced, processing the new information and the Confederation's offer. He turned to Zara, an idea forming. "Ambassador, instead of immediately embarking on a tour of your worlds, why not visit Harmony Base? You can observe our hybrid ecosystem firsthand in a controlled environment." Zara conferred briefly with her companions before nodding. "An acceptable compromise. We agree to your proposal." As preparations for the Confederation's visit to Earth began, Queen Gaia suddenly winced, her bioluminescence flaring. Adam was at her side in an instant, supporting her as medical staff rushed over. Dr. Kennedy, who had been observing from a nearby console, spoke up. "The pregnancy is progressing faster than we anticipated. We need to develop a mobile medical unit tailored to their hybrid physiology, just in case." Adam nodded, his concern for Queen Gaia evident in the rapid pulsing of his skin. "Make it happen, Doctor. We'll need it for the upcoming tour of the terraformed area." As the date of the Confederation's arrival approached, Harmony Base transformed into a hive of activity. Security protocols were tightened, and a secure landing zone was established near the edge of the terraformed area. On the day of the visit, Adam and Queen Gaia stood hand in hand at the designated meeting point, the mobile medical unit hovering discreetly nearby. The transformed landscape stretched out before them. A vibrant tapestry of Earth and Sakari flora merged into something entirely new. As the Confederation shuttles descended from the sky, their iridescent hulls gleaming in the sunlight, Adam felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just about Earth and the Sakari homeworld anymore. It was about the future of galactic cooperation, centered around the unlikely union between a human male and an alien queen. Queen Gaia's hand tightened around his, her bioluminescence pulsing in a pattern that conveyed both excitement and nervousness. Adam returned the gesture, his hybrid senses alert and ready for whatever challenges this new chapter might bring. The shuttles touched down, kicking up a swirl of hybrid pollen that danced in the air like bioluminescent fireflies. As the doors opened and the Confederation delegation emerged, Adam took a deep breath, ready to guide them through the transformed world that he and Queen Gaia had helped create. As the shuttles touched down, A swirl of hybrid pollen danced around Adam and Queen Gaia, their bioluminescent skin pulsing in sync with the alien flora. The doors of the lead shuttle opened with a soft hiss, revealing Ambassador Zara and her entourage. Adam stepped forward, his hands still intertwined with Queen Gaia's. "Welcome to Harmony Base, Ambassador Zara. We're honored to have you here." Zara's multifaceted eyes took in the transformed landscape, her iridescent skin shimmering with what appeared to be excitement. "The honor is ours, Adam. This," she gestured to the vibrant ecosystem around them, "this is beyond our wildest expectations." As the rest of the Confederation delegation disembarked, Queen Gaia suddenly stiffened, her bioluminescence flaring erratically. Adam felt a surge of panic through their mental link as she doubled over, clutching her abdomen. "Gaia," Adam called out, supporting her weight as she swayed. Dr. Kennedy rushed forward from the mobile medical unit, his hands already working the controls of a specialized medical scanner. "Her hormone levels are spiking. The pregnancy is progressing faster than we anticipated." Ambassador Zara's medical officer, a slender being with translucent skin, stepped forward. "I am Dr. HFY Vara. Perhaps I can be of assistance?" Dr. Kennedy hesitated for a moment before nodding. "Any help would be appreciated, Doctor." As the two medical professionals worked to stabilize Queen Gaia, Adam noticed the concerned looks from the Confederation delegation. He cleared his throat, attempting to regain control of the situation. "Perhaps we should begin our tour of the terraform area. I'm sure you're eager to see the energy-absorbing plants up close." Ambassador Zara nodded, her eyes still flickering between Adam and the medical team attending to Queen Gaia. "Of course. Lead the way, Adam." The group set off, with Adam guiding them through the lush alien landscape. The hybrid flora surrounded them, a mesmerizing blend of Earth and Sakari plant life. Energy seemed to pulse through the very air, causing the Confederation's scanning equipment to emit soft chirps and beeps. As they ventured deeper into the terraform zone, the vegetation grew denser, more vibrant. Adam's enhanced senses picked up a low-frequency vibration emanating from the plants, growing stronger with each step. Suddenly, they emerged into a clearing unlike anything they had seen before. A dense canopy of energy-absorbing plants formed a pulsating dome overhead, their leaves shimmering with terrifying power. "Fascinating," one of the Confederation scientists murmured, raising a scanner toward the canopy. Without warning, the plants began to emit a more intense vibration. Queen Gaia, who had been keeping pace with the help of Dr. Kennedy and Dr. HFY Vara, gasped as her bioluminescence flared in response. The reaction spread like wildfire through the terraform area. Plants began to glow and pulse, absorbing energy at an alarming rate. Equipment carried by the Confederation delegation flickered and died as the hybrid flora drained their power sources. "Everyone, back to the shuttles," Ambassador Zara called out, her voice tinged with alarm. As the Confederation members retreated, Adam, Queen Gaia, and the medical team found themselves trapped within the affected area. The energy field intensified, creating a shimmering barrier that cut them off from the rest of the group. "Adam!" Dr. Kennedy shouted over the growing hum of energy. "The mobile medical unit is shielded against energy fluctuations. We need to get Queen Gaia inside now." As they made their way toward the unit, a rumbling from beneath their feet stopped them in their tracks. The ground split open, revealing a hidden bunker. Adam's blood ran cold as he recognized the beings emerging from the opening. "Zorax," he hissed, instinctively moving to shield Queen Gaia. The Zorax soldiers, clearly disoriented and desperate, took in the scene before them. Their eyes locked onto the pulsating plants, recognition and greed flashing across their alien features. The plants, one of them growled in broken English, "Give us control. Weapon against our enemies." Adam's mind raced, assessing the situation. The Zoracs were outnumbered but armed and dangerous. The energy field was expanding, threatening to engulf more of the island. And Queen Gaia's condition was deteriorating rapidly. As human and Sakari security forces moved to contain the Zoracs threat, Dr. HFY approached Queen Gaia. "Your Highness, if I may, my equipment might provide more insight into your condition." Dr. Kennedy started to protest, but Queen Gaia nodded weakly. "Do it," she whispered. As Dr. HFY conducted her scan, Adam coordinated with the security teams, his enhanced strength and tactical knowledge proving invaluable in the chaos. The standoff with the Zoracs grew more tense with each passing moment. "Adam!" Dr. HFY called out, her voice filled with a mix of awe and concern. "The fetus. It's developing abilities I've never seen before. The energy from the plants is accelerating its growth exponentially." The implications of her words hit Adam like a physical blow. He looked at Queen Gaia, saw the pain and fear in her eyes, and knew he had to act fast. The energy field continued to expand, its shimmering surface now visible from the edge of the base. Alarms blared as critical systems began to fail under the onslaught of the hybrid plant's energy absorption. Adam's gaze fell on the Zoracs' weapons, an idea forming in his mind. It was risky, potentially catastrophic, but it might be their only chance. "Dr. Kennedy, get Queen Gaia to the medical unit," Adam ordered. "Ambassador Zara, I need your people to coordinate with our security forces. We're going to use the Zoracs' weapons against them, but we need to time it perfectly with the plant's energy absorption cycle." As the group scrambled to implement Adam's plan, Queen Gaia suddenly cried out in agony. Her bioluminescence flared brighter than ever before, pulsing in sync with the expanding energy field. "Adam!" Dr. Kennedy shouted from the medical unit. "We're losing her. The pregnancy. It's too much for her system to handle." Adam felt torn. The need to neutralize the immediate threats warring with his desire to be at Queen Gaia's side. Time seemed to slow as he looked between the advancing Zoracs, the pulsating plants, and the medical unit, where the love of his life fought for survival. With a deep breath, Adam made his choice. The fate of Harmony Base, Earth-Sakari relations, and their standing in the galactic community hung in the balance. But more importantly, the lives of Queen Gaia and their unborn child were at stake. Adam's skin pulsed with persistence as he raised his hand, ready to give the signal that would set their desperate plan in motion. The future of everything they had built together rested on what happened in the next few moments. Adam took a deep breath, steeling himself for the chaos to come. "Now!" he shouted, his voice carrying across the turbulent landscape. The human Sakari security forces sprang into action, their movements coordinated with precision. They herded the Zorac soldiers towards a dense cluster of hybrid plants, their energy weapons primed and ready. As the Zoracs realized they were being maneuvered, they began to fire wildly. Adam's enhanced reflexes allowed him to dodge a stray bolt of energy, his skin pulsing with adrenaline. "Hold your fire," he commanded the security team. "Wait for my signal." The air crackled with tension as the Zoracs found themselves surrounded by the pulsating flora. Adam's eyes darted between the advancing security forces, the confused aliens, and the medical unit where Queen Gaia lay. Suddenly, Queen Gaia's agonized scream pierced the air. Adam's heart leaped into his throat as he saw Dr. Kennedy frantically waving him over. "Adam, it's happening now!" the doctor shouted, his voice strained with urgency. In that split second, Adam made his decision. "Lieutenant," he called to his second-in-command, "take over. On my mark, have the Zoracs discharge their weapons into the plants." Without waiting for a response, Adam sprinted towards the medical unit. As he ran, he heard the lieutenant's commands and the subsequent burst of energy as the Zoracs' weapons fired into the hybrid flora. The effect was immediate. The expanding energy field shuddered and halted, the plants greedily absorbing the weapon discharge. Adam allowed himself a moment of relief before bursting into the makeshift delivery room. Inside, the scene was one of controlled chaos. Dr. Kennedy and Dr. HFY moved in perfect synchronization, their hands a blur as they operated a dizzying array of human, Sakari, and Confederation medical equipment. Queen Gaia lay on the medical bed, her bioluminescence flaring erratically. Her eyes found Adam's, filled with a mixture of pain and purpose. "Adam!" she gasped, reaching out for him. He was at her side in an instant, clasping her hand. "I'm here, Gaia. You're doing great." Dr. HFY looked up from her scans, her translucent skin pulsing with concern. "The fetus's neural activity is off the charts. I've never seen anything like this." As if in response to the doctor's words, the medical equipment began to spark and flicker. Adam watched in amazement as tendrils of energy seemed to flow from the hybrid plants outside, seeping through the walls of the medical unit and interfacing with the technology around them. "What's happening?" Adam demanded, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and fear. Dr. Kennedy shook his head, his brow furrowed in concentration. "The plants, they're evolving, creating some kind of organic circuitry, and it's interfacing with our equipment." Outside, the sound of shouting drew Adam's attention. He rushed to the window, his jaw dropping at the sight before him. The hybrid plants had begun to change, their structures twisting and reforming into complex patterns that resembled circuit boards. Ambassador Zara approached the medical unit, her multifaceted eyes wide with wonder. "Adam, you need to see this. The plants are interfacing with the Zorax technology in the bunker. They're creating some kind of biotechnological network." Adam's mind raced, struggling to process the implications of this development. Before he could respond, Queen Gaia let out another cry of pain. "The baby's coming," Dr. Kennedy announced, his voice tight with concentration. Adam rushed back to Gaia's side, his heart pounding. As he watched the doctor's work, he noticed the medical equipment pulsing in sync with the expanding biotechnological network outside. The network, Dr. HFY gasped, her eyes fixed on her scanner. "It's interfacing with the fetus. The neural activity, it's beyond anything I've ever seen." The air in the medical unit seemed to thicken, charged with an otherworldly energy. Adam felt it prickling against his skin, his hybrid physiology reacting to the strange forces at work. Outside, the captured Zorax soldiers watched in stunned silence as their hidden outpost was transformed by the spreading network. One of them, seemingly overcome by the magnitude of the moment, stepped forward. "The database," he said, his gravelly voice filled with a mix of awe and resignation. "Our species' scientific knowledge. It's being integrated into the network." Ambassador Zara's eyes lit up with excitement. This could change everything. The potential for scientific advancement, for interspecies cooperation. Her words were cut short by a piercing cry, the first wail of a newborn child. Adam's world narrowed to a single point as Dr. Kennedy lifted a tiny, glistening form into the air. The hybrid child, a perfect blend of human and Sakari features, opened its eyes. In that instant, the biotechnological network pulsed with renewed energy. The plants outside the medical unit formed a protective dome, their leaves shimmering with an otherworldly light. As Adam cradled his newborn child, he felt a surge of energy course through him. His own hybrid physiology seemed to resonate with the pulsing network, enhancing his strength and sharpening his mind to new heights. Queen Gaia reached out, her fingers brushing against their child's glowing skin. "Adam," she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. "Can you feel it? Everything's changing." Adam nodded, his enhanced senses picking up the rapid transformation occurring around them. The biotechnological network was spreading beyond the terraformed area, triggering dormant hybrid seeds across the island. As the new parents marveled at their child, Harmony Base began its metamorphosis. The lines between biology, technology, and sentient life blurred, promising a future filled with both incredible opportunities and unfathomable challenges. Adam looked from his child to the transformed landscape outside, then to the assembled representatives of Earth, the Sakari, and the Galactic Confederation. He knew that the events unfolding on Harmony Base would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. With his newborn child in his arms and Queen Gaia by his side, Adam stepped forward to face the dawn of a new era. The biotechnological network pulsed around them, a testament to the unprecedented fusion of life and technology that would define their future. The biotechnological network pulsed around them, a testament to the unprecedented fusion of life and technology that would define their child's existence. As Adam cradled the newborn, he noticed a peculiar shimmer across the infant's skin. Within moments, the child's features began to shift and mature at an alarming rate. Dr. Kennedy's eyes widened in disbelief. "Incredible," he breathed, quickly adjusting his equipment. "The child's growth rate is exponential. We're witnessing months of development in mere minutes." Queen Gaia reached out, her fingers brushing against their rapidly changing child. "Adam, look. Our baby is already focusing on us. Those eyes." Indeed, the infant's gaze was unnaturally sharp, filled with an awareness that belied its chronological age. As they watched, the child's limbs elongated, its body filling out until it resembled a toddler rather than a newborn. Dr. HFY Elvara's translucent skin pulsed with excitement as she analyzed the readings. The biotechnological network is adapting to the child's growth. It's providing tailored nutrients and stimuli. This is beyond anything we could have imagined. Adam felt a surge of pride mixed with awe. "We need a name," he said softly to Gaia. "Something that reflects this new dawn." Gaia smiled, her bioluminescence pulsing in sync with the child's. "Nova," she whispered, "our bright new star." As if in response to its name, Nova reached out a small hand towards a window. The hybrid plants outside shimmered and swayed, forming intricate patterns that mimicked the child's gesture. Dr. Kennedy gasped. "The energy field. It's stabilizing. Nova is somehow interfacing with the network, controlling it." Adam's mind raced with the implications. He turned to Ambassador Zara, who stood transfixed by the unfolding events. "Ambassador, we need to contact the Galactic Confederation immediately. This changes everything." Zara nodded, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the pulsing light of the biotechnological network. "I'll request an emergency session with the ruling council. The Human-Sakari Alliance may have just become the most important force in the galaxy." As Zara hurried to make the necessary communications, Adam's attention was drawn to the commotion outside. The captured Zorax soldiers were being escorted towards the base's detention center, their expressions a mix of fear and awe. "I need to secure the Zorax outpost," Adam said, torn between his duty and the desire to stay with his family. Gaia squeezed his hand reassuringly. "Go," she said. "Nova and I will be safe here. The network, I can feel it protecting us." Adam nodded, his enhanced physiology humming with renewed energy. He turned to Dr. Kennedy and Dr. HFY Elvara. "Monitor Nova's development closely. Report any significant changes immediately." As Adam stepped outside, he was struck by the transformation of Harmony Base. The hybrid ecosystem had spread beyond the initial terraformed area, creating a vibrant tapestry of biotechnological life. He made his way to the Zorax bunker, where his security team was already cataloging the discovered technology. "Sir," his lieutenant reported, "we've found advanced propulsion systems and weapons prototypes. The tech is like nothing we've seen before." Adam's eyes narrowed as he surveyed the alien equipment, integrated with our defense systems. "We need to be prepared for any retaliation. As the team worked to secure and analyze the Zorax technology, Adam's enhanced senses picked up a flurry of activity from the communications center. News of Nova's birth and the base's transformation was spreading rapidly, eliciting a wide range of reactions from Earth and the Sakari homeworld. Reports flooded in of conservative groups protesting the rapid changes, their fears of losing cultural identity clashing with the excitement of progressives who saw unlimited potential in the advancements. Adam knew that navigating these political waters would be crucial in the coming days. A sudden alert from the medical unit drew Adam's attention. He rushed back, his heart racing. Inside, he found Nova, now resembling a young child, surrounded by a holographic display of complex equations and schematics. Dr. HFY's voice was filled with wonder. The Zorax database. Nova is accessing and synthesizing it, along with our combined scientific archives. The child's cognitive abilities are off the charts. Adam watched in amazement as Nova manipulated the holographic display, solving complex problems with ease. The young hybrid turned to Adam, eyes shining with intelligence far beyond their years. "Father," Nova said, the voice clear and articulate, "I understand now. The Zorax their plans. I can help us prepare." As Adam struggled to process this new development, Queen Gaia joined them, her recovery accelerated by her hybrid physiology. Together, they faced the challenges that lay ahead, managing their extraordinary child, leading the Human Sakari Alliance, and preparing for the arrival of the Galactic Confederation's ruling council. Outside, the coastline of Harmony Base began to shift, the hybrid ecosystem extending into the ocean. A biotechnological reef formed, generating a protective energy barrier around the island. As the sun set on this transformative day, Adam and Gaia stood with Nova, watching their impregnable fortress take shape. The future of galactic politics hung in the balance, with Harmony Base at its center. Adam knew that the trials ahead would test them all, but as he looked at his family and the marvel they had created, he felt ready to face whatever challenges the universe might bring. As Adam and Gaia stood with Nova, watching their impregnable fortress take shape, an unexpected tremor shook the ground beneath their feet. The biotechnological reef surrounding the island pulsed with an eerie light, its energy barrier flickering momentarily. Adam's enhanced senses kicked into high alert. "Something's wrong," he said, his eyes scanning the horizon. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the base. The protective dome of hybrid plants shimmered and undulated, reacting to an unseen threat. Ambassador Zara burst into the room, her multifaceted eyes wide with urgency. "Adam, we've detected a breach in our outer defenses. Unidentified ships have penetrated the barrier using some form of advanced cloaking technology." As if on cue, the sky above Harmony Base erupted in a dazzling display of weapons fire. Streaks of energy crisscrossed the atmosphere as previously hidden Confederation orbital platforms engaged the incoming Zorax vessels. Queen Gaia's bioluminescence flared, her connection to the hybrid ecosystem alerting her to the imminent danger. "They're deploying ground forces," she said, her voice tight with concentration. "I can feel them interfacing with the network." Adam's tactical mind raced through potential scenarios. Zara, coordinate with the Confederation's orbital defenses. Gaia, initiate a base-wide lockdown. We need to compartmentalize and contain any potential incursions. As Gaia communed with the biotechnological network, the hybrid plants responded to her commands. Walls of dense vegetation sprouted from the ground, creating a maze-like structure throughout the base. Energy fields shimmered into existence, sealing off critical areas. Nova, now resembling a young adolescent, stepped forward. The child's eyes glowed with an otherworldly intelligence as holographic displays materialized around them. "Father, I've analyzed the Zorax attack pattern. They're using cybernetically enhanced soldiers designed to hijack our network." Adam nodded, his enhanced physiology already priming for combat. Can you counter their interface? Nova's fingers danced through the air, manipulating complex data streams. I've developed a new communication device. It can transmit thoughts instantly across vast distances. If we link key personnel, we can coordinate our defense more effectively. As Nova worked, Adam turned to Dr. Kennedy and Dr. XY Elvara. Secure the medical unit. If things go south, we may need to evacuate Nova. The doctors nodded, quickly gathering essential equipment and data storage devices. Outside, the sound of battle grew closer. Adam activated his comm link. Security teams, report in. What's our status? His lieutenant's voice crackled through the speaker. Sir, we've engaged Zorax forces in sectors 3 and 7. They're using some kind of cyber interface to manipulate our defenses. We're holding for now, but barely. Adam's lips pursed. I'm on my way. Nova, stay here with your mother and the medical team. Coordinate our efforts through your new device. As Adam moved to leave, Gaia caught his arm. Her eyes, filled with concern and persistence, met his. Be careful, she said softly. Adam nodded, then sprinted from the room. As he navigated the transformed corridors of Harmony Base, he marveled at the rapid evolution of the hybrid plants. New defensive structures had grown in minutes, creating choke points and ambush zones. He found his strike team engaged in fierce close-quarters combat with Zorax cybernetic soldiers. The enemy moved with unnatural speed and precision, their implants allowing them to interface directly with the surrounding technology. Adam's enhanced reflexes kicked in as he joined the fray. He ducked under a Zorax energy blade, countering with a swift uppercut that sent the soldier flying. His team rallied around him, their coordinated efforts slowly pushing back the Zorax advance. Suddenly, Nova's voice echoed in Adam's mind. The new communication device had linked them seamlessly. Father, the Zorax have breached the secondary research facility. They're attempting to upload a virus into our network. Adam felt a surge of panic. Can you stop them? I'm trying. Nova's mental voice strained with effort. But countering their virus is taking a toll on my mind. The network, it's beginning to behave erratically. As if to emphasize Nova's words, the hybrid plants around them began to shift and mutate at an alarming rate. New forms emerged, overflowing with defensive adaptations. Adam fought his way towards the research facility, his mind racing. The biotechnological network was evolving beyond their control, potentially threatening the entire island's ecosystem. Ambassador Zura's voice joined the mental link. Adam, the Confederation Council is convening an emergency session. They're debating whether to intervene directly. Adam grunted as he deflected another Zorax attack. Tell them we need support, not interference. Our priority is neutralizing the Zorax threat and stabilizing the network. As he fought, Adam could sense the strain on Nova's mind through their link. The young hybrid was pushing their abilities to the limit, simultaneously coordinating the base's defense and combating the Zorax virus. Adam knew he faced an impossible choice. Continue leading the defense efforts, or rush to his child's aid. The fate of Harmony Base, the Human-Sakari Alliance, and potentially Earth itself hung in the balance. With a determined grimace, Adam signaled to his lieutenant, "Take command here. I need to get to the medical unit." As Adam raced through the chaotic, ever-changing corridors of Harmony Base, he could only hope that his decision wouldn't cost them everything they had fought so hard to build. Without hesitation, Adam sprinted through the chaotic corridors of Harmony Base, his enhanced physiology pushing him to superhuman speeds. As he approached the medical unit, Adam felt a surge of energy coursing through the walls. The hybrid plants pulsed with an eerie bioluminescence, responding to the mental strain Nova was under. He burst through the doors to find Queen Gaia already at Nova's side, her own luminescence flaring in sync with their child's. Nova, now resembling a teenager, sat at the center of a swirling vortex of holographic data. Sweat beaded on their forehead as they fought against the Zorax virus. Dr. Kennedy and Dr. XY Alvara stood back, their expressions a mix of awe and concern. "Nova," Adam called out, rushing to join his family. Queen Gaia turned to him, her eyes glowing with tenacity. "Adam, we need to help. Nova can't fight this alone." Without a word, Adam took Gaia's hand and placed his other on Nova's shoulder. The moment they connected, a jolt of energy surged through them. Adam felt his consciousness expand, merging with Gaia's and Nova's in a shared mental space. In this realm of pure thought, Adam saw the Zorax virus as a writhing mass of dark tendrils, attempting to corrupt the shimmering lattice of the biotechnological network. Nova's mind, a brilliant point of light, fought against the encroaching darkness. Adam and Gaia's minds joined Nova's, their combined strength pushing back against the viral intrusion. As they fought, Adam felt Nova's abilities evolving, adapting to the challenge. Suddenly, Nova's mental presence flared with newfound power. "I see it now," Nova's voice echoed in their shared consciousness. "The virus. I can rewrite it." Adam watched in amazement as Nova's mind began to unravel the Zorax code, restructuring it on the fly. The dark tendrils of the virus began to change color, shifting from malevolent black to a harmonious green that merged seamlessly with the network. Outside their mental link, the effects were immediate and dramatic. The Zorax soldiers attacking the base suddenly froze, their cybernetic implants going dark. In orbit, the enemy ships powered down, drifting harmlessly in space. As the immediate threat subsided, Adam felt their shared consciousness expand further, interfacing directly with the island's hybrid ecosystem. Together, they guided its rapid evolution, channeling its growth into more stable, controlled forms. The plants responded to their will, reshaping themselves into intricate structures that merged with the existing base architecture. Walls became living, breathing entities that could adapt to threats in real time. The biotechnological reef surrounding the island pulsed with renewed strength, its protective barrier now impenetrable. As their mental link deepened, a vision unfolded before them. Adam saw glimpses of a future where the boundaries between biology and technology had dissolved completely. He witnessed sprawling cities that grew and adapted like living organisms, starships powered by hybrid engines that could traverse galaxies in the blink of an eye, and a unified galactic community where resource scarcity and conflict were things of the past. The vision resonated through the bio network, projecting images of peace and cooperation to everyone on the island. Adam felt a wave of hope and wonder wash over him, knowing that this future was now within reach. Slowly, the mental link began to dissipate. Adam found himself back in the medical unit, still holding Gaia's hand and Nova's shoulder. Their child, now fully resembling a young adult, looked up at them with eyes full of wisdom and purpose. "It's done," Nova said, their voice steady and confident. "The Zorax threat has been neutralized, and I've stabilized the network." Before Adam could respond, Ambassador Zara burst into the room, her multifaceted eyes wide with excitement. "Adam, Queen Gaia, you won't believe this. The Galactic Confederation Council has just concluded an emergency session. They've unanimously voted to formally recognize the Human-Sakari Alliance and offer us full membership." Adam exchanged a look of amazement with Gaia. Their shared ordeal had not only saved Harmony Base, but had catapulted their alliance onto the galactic stage. Zara approached them, holding a small, ornate box. "On behalf of the Confederation, I present you with our highest honor," she said, opening the box to reveal 2 shimmering medals. "Your actions today have ushered in a new era of interspecies collaboration. As Adam and Gaia accepted the medals, a commotion outside caught their attention. They moved to the window to see the transformed landscape of Harmony Base. The hybrid ecosystem had reshaped the entire island, creating a harmonious blend of natural and technological elements. In the distance, the first ships of the Galactic Confederation were descending through the atmosphere, their sleek designs unlike anything Earth had seen before. Adam knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter for humanity and the Sakari. Nova joined them at the window, their presence a testament to the incredible journey they had all undertaken. "We have so much work to do," Nova said, their voice filled with excitement. "The advancements we can make now, the discoveries waiting to be unlocked." Adam nodded, feeling a surge of pride and anticipation. As he looked out at the transformed Harmony Base, now a symbol of interstellar cooperation, he knew that the challenges ahead would be unlike anything they had faced before. But with his family by his side and the support of the Galactic Confederation, he felt ready to embrace this new frontier. The sun began to set on this momentous day, its light refracting beautifully through the biotechnological structures of Harmony Base. As the first stars became visible in the darkening sky, Adam couldn't help but wonder what new adventures awaited them in the vast, unexplored reaches of the galaxy.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.